You found yourselves in Gede, the mire of Mystere on a patch of soggy earth, after defeating Rugarul, the voracious doom, in his fully realized Dracolich form, after he consumed Baron Samedi. Thanks for the sub, Orkale. Thank you so much.
Welcome to our family.
Thank you.
And you, however, afterwards, you retrieved the Child's of Agony, but it was consumed, and however, all the souls were consumed, all 10,000, plus the souls of Rugarul and Baron Samedi, it seems, by the one and only Baba Yaga, who revealed herself to be Sylvie's true patron after deceiving her for years.
No.
After all these years.
However, it did seem to neutralize the effects of the phylactery. And you got a magical item out of it. You then made your way back to Bon Macabre, the city of the dancing dead, where you just really took some time to breathe out, at least for a moment, to celebrate your victory, to drink and dance with the skeletons, with the Loa. Some lewd shit happened.
We partied like it was 1999.
Like it was 1999. And you got to see the true form of Maman Brigitte and Nebo. And you eventually made your way back to the prime material plane, back to Agwe. And you realized that you had actually been gone for 20 years. No, I'm kidding. Orpheus fucked with you. And
I forgot about that.
You had been gone basically the same time, and it felt like 4 or 5 days, whatever it was. And, however, the swamp had almost overgrown the city. It was encroaching. Many buildings and some streets had sunk into the swamp. And there was the rebuilding seemingly had been attacked. What's wrong with the audio?
Echo in the audio.
Thank you. See, this is why you let us know. Much appreciated. Apologies.
We got a new, are we muted?
No, we're not muted.
We got a new, whatever that thing is that manages your audio, producer. And he's faulty. His name's Ruck.
Check.
Producer Ruck.
Stick with us, ladies and gentlemen. Apologies for the audio. See, this is why we got a long intro, so we can
work out our shiz.
Is the echo still here?
Let us know if the echo's still there. Let us know, chat. Oh yes, this is my new dance.
It seems to be
echo's
just
still there.
Mikey.
Thank you guys.
It seems to be just Mike.
It's seems to
be just Mikey.
I'm always
so let's all go on.
D&D.
Yeah,
folks.
Mute City up
Oh,
in
there we go. I
Disney.
see some movement.
Let's try that.
Mute City.
Y'all ever just get muted?
Is the echo gone? It's perfect.
Alright, let's rock and roll.
Okay.
Bear with us.
Thank you. There were the remnants of shambling vine and bog and tree creatures all throughout the city, all being burned. And it seemed they had just gotten through with burning the corpses of all the zombies and this disaster. Agwe is a shell of its former self. You all eventually made your way back to your ship. And then you heard a soft meow as you saw a jade cat
That's right.
arrive at your feet. And so, you were all standing on the lower deck of the Knight's Patience, your ship gifted to you by Admiral Amalia Theramore. And you hear the soft mewing of a cat you know whose name is Jade, who's also made of jade. A small cat as she walks around you and rubs up against your legs, and you notice that there's something in her mouth. It seems to be a rolled scroll with a long silk ribbon tied around it.
Are we all together?
Yes.
What's the time?
It's approaching afternoon.
Okay.
Because you got back in the morning.
Just one more question out of character.
Yeah.
I know that we have our mounts on the way. Did we also fetch Orpheus? Is he? No. So, but we know the mounts are on their way.
The mounts are on their way. You know that it was going to take like 2 weeks to get everything ready,
Right.
and so it's probably been half a week since then, or no, probably about 4 or 5 days since then.
Right. Okay.
And they're coming via boat.
Yes,
That was my understanding.
Okay, I gotta get into character.
How now, brown cow?
Oh, it's. I'm gonna lean down and I'm gonna thank you. Can I pay you? How does this work?
She releases the letter and she just looks up at you and blinks. Her large jade eyes shimmering as she looks at you and gives you one last purr before turning around and walking away.
Perhaps Master Leaf is not waiting for a reply. I suppose we should read it and
let's
find out.
See.
What's it say?
I would like to read the letter.
You read the letter, and it is in Master Leaf from Vine's impeccable handwriting. It's the calligraphy of his brush. Oh, thank you for the cheer, 12-sided guy.
Thank you.
Thank you.
With those beautiful brush strokes that you're familiar with his correspondence. And it says, if this letter's found you, I hope you survived. We have much to discuss. Please meet me at the Misty Morning tonight.
And it's like what, midday or?
It's like approaching midday.
Echo's back.
Echo's back. Hold on. Let's. I'm gonna try something here.
Oh no.
How is this? Are we good? Is this better? Good. Okay. Can you point the taller mic towards Mike?
You just tilt it up.
And tilt it up, and then just center the other one on us.
Does that tighten?
Okay. You know, it took me like a month and a half or 2 months to fix the echo, and then our interface broke. So now it's back in full force.
Thanks for bearing with us.
Thanks, guys. Do you remember how you fixed that?
That's good.
Check 1 2. How are we sounding, ladies and gentlemen?
Testing. 1, 2, 3.
Great.
So,
Hopefully. You sound good, Mike. Okay, this is the best ASMR. You need a plate of a spaghetti.
No, thank you.
you hear the meows echoing as she walks up the steps to the main deck, past some crewmen.
I gotta be honest with everyone here. We don't really have much going on at the moment. I mean, we might as well. I don't think there's anything I really need to do in town. I was preparing to purchase some things for Piccolo when she arrives, but other than that, I don't really have any plans until now. We have to meet Master Leaf. What do you think? What do you guys think?
Well, I think we deserve a chance to rest, given the fact that we've been through a lot. And we still need to wait for Rambi and Piccolo and the rest. We do need to go back to Gullhaven to collect Orpheus. Let's not forget.
That'll take us, 24 hours, full round trip?
I think we could, depending on how the meeting goes, we could teleport back tonight, spend the night in our mansion, and then we could, spend the day in Gullhaven, perhaps a few days in Gullhaven. And
is the spell refreshed on a new day, like after a long rest?
Sunrise.
So we don't even necessarily need to spend the day in Gullhaven if we don't need to. If there are pressing things here, I kind of want to just snatch up Orpheus and get him back here as quickly as possible in our careful watch.
I'm just not sure that there's a whole lot we need to do here anymore. I mean, obviously we'll have Master Leaf inform us on if anything's happened since we've been gone, but...
True.
I feel like they've got it handled.
Well, I suppose we'll see. Ladies, do you have any input?
No, I was just thinking I'd lick my chicken foot and leave it up to you.
Still with the chicken foot.
Well, it's really salty. I don't know if you've ever done this. I think it's called a cud or a chud, but cows lick it. And it makes them have superpowers.
Superpowers?
Yeah.
Like what?
Well, like when cows fly. And
I just look at Roadhead.
And sometimes they wear armor and get into battles.
I suppose they could.
So,
Randy
if my
wears armor.
chicken leg, if my chicken foot is now my chud, a chicken chud, then someday I'll have even more super powers and I'll be able to fight Baba Yaga. And then she won't be my patron anymore.
Interesting.
So I will lick this chicken foot every single day.
I wouldn't even dare to begin to try to stop you.
And you can lick it too if you
No,
want
thank you.
to.
I will think about it, but I appreciate the offer.
Well, if you ever find that you're low on electrolytes and you need something salty,
you'll be the first person I come to.
you can chew on the talons.
Is it salty?
Oh, yes.
But it's not a real chicken foot.
It's really cold.
It's made of it's actually made of metal, right?
No, it's an
Like
actual
a
chicken foot.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's a chicken
Okay, I
foot.
thought it was like a
No,
like
it's a
metal.
real
It's a
chicken
chicken foot. Yeah.
Oh,
You.
I'm now far more disgusted.
You spit on it.
I thought it was
And
like
it's
cast in
even-
bronze.
No, you spit on it and it's even saltier ever since.
Yeah, well.
Did you tell us what it does?
No.
Okay, so
I did.
as
We talked about it.
I think
I
Mikey
get it.
told us.
I don't
I
think
can't
so.
remember.
I can't remember.
I can't remember.
I can't remember either.
doesn't matter, unimportant.
But I would have told you. So if I didn't,
Okay,
we'll say that
fair
I did
enough.
this morning.
Fair enough. All right. I mean, how much time do we have until this meeting? I suppose a few hours. I kind of just want to stay here on the Knight's Patience and maybe, I don't know, have a drink or something. I'm tired, beat up, I'm sore.
Yeah, like what do mercenaries do when they don't have anybody to kill?
Well, first, we're not mercenaries. and
We're heroes
second-
for hire.
No, we're not even for hire.
Oh,
Who's paid us? No one's paid us.
We have a lot of gold.
I was gonna say, I feel like we've made a pretty good amount of coin.
Guy, we have, but we've done a thing, and
No,
they've been like, "That
you
was
can't-
really great. Here you
can't
go."
even say that no one's paid us
It's a key
because
distinction.
that creepy demon guy or devil or whatever
Oh.
that we signed the contract with. Remember, I read the whole
No,
thing and I
there
was
was
like, hey, by
literally
the
a
way, then we have to
contract.
do this, and then we have to do that, and then we have to do that, and then he's gonna give us like 40,000 gold, and then we have 40,000 gold, and we can spend on whatever we want. He gave us money.
Oh, well, fine. We were his mercenaries, but we've been no one else's mercenaries, as far as I'm concerned.
Well, especially because we're not mercenaries, we're heroes for hire. It's very
Really?
important.
What's
I
the
really don't
difference?
like either title.
Well,
Yeah, we should come up with something else. You know, I
If
named
you
us.
say pussy posse, I Yep.
Go on.
I'm gonna lick my chicken leg.
I'm just gonna start licking my chicken leg.
well, as someone who's been on both sides of the coin, mercenaries are generally frowned upon, and heroes are not. I quite enjoyed being a
I
hero.
think that when you put the for hire after it, it kind of loses the
Cheapens it.
impact of the heroes. Because, you know, I feel like heroes most of the time, they kind of do it to be nice and heroic, and not for the whole hiring part.
Well, at the end of the day, I still have to watch out for myself and my own well-being. I enjoyed being a hero. It's been great being hailed as the heroes of Gullhaven.
So why can't you just be, I'm Vandris, a hero, and a freelance McMurderer?
That actually has a certain ring to it.
Yeah.
I haven't really McMurdered anybody recently, but I suppose if the situation were to call for it.
What's the exact definition of a McMurder? How versus just killing someone? How do you McMurder someone?
I suppose that would be a question for Sylvia. She seems to have coined the term.
Well, you know, it's a little more different than murdering. Because when you murder someone, you do it, like, accidentally with your eyes closed.
I see.
And
Maybe
when you neck murder someone, you open your eyes, like this.
I was
And
gonna.
then you kill them.
Right.
Intentionally.
I was
Yeah.
gonna guess maybe it was a
You
little
kind of
bit.
do it in a flurry, a mech flurry.
Yeah, it's-
As you spin around and just do it.
It's a
you
bit
know?
cheaper. It might not be always the best way to do it. Off-brandish. It is what you get what you
Yeah,
pay
you know,
for.
they
you
call
know.
it drive-through McMurdering. You know, you're just in and out as quick as you
We're
can
not going to
be.
kill anyone. Look. We don't murder anyone at all.
That's
Heroes don't murder people,
What
Not
do you
true.
mean?
even in
No.
a drive-through.
What?
we've murdered
We've
literally
murdered a
countless.
lot.
Well, I suppose it depends on the definition of murder. It's a really hard word to say in a Scottish accent. Fuck.
I mean, if we had a tally going.
So I guess you differentiate the difference between killing someone and murder.
Yeah, I believe.
Because we have killed many scores. Maybe even a baker's. No, what was a gross? That's 144 if you didn't know.
Certainly more than that.
Dozens of grosses.
A gross.
I've hung out with a flock of grosses, and I can tell you it's a lot.
How many's a flock?
At least 2 million.
Well. Anyways.
I made that up.
Why don't we relax? Why don't we take the air and ambulate through the town?
That was a $5 gold piece.
Thank you, 12-sided guy, for the
Thank
you
cheer.
very
Much
much.
appreciated. Thank you,
Your
guys.
guys' jokes about the McMurder ice cream machine is McDead, that got me.
Today in
Always.
1940, McDonald's
Always.
opened its first restaurant. That
No.
was a fun
Introducing our new sponsor, McDonald's.
No way!
There'd be some big
Wait,
sponsor
what?
money.
Yeah.
What was
Today,
the fun
in
fact?
1940, was the first McDonald's restaurant opening.
Wow. I did not know that when I made that joke. But McDonald's, you're welcome.
Please sponsor us.
So we can fix our audio.
That's gonna be the big oof from me. Well, I suppose if we need to kill some time anyway, not murder some time, but kill some time, we might as well. What was that 5 gold piece word you used?
Ambulate.
We might as well
Through the
ambulate.
Oh,
Ambulate
that's
through
a
the town
really
towards
great
Master Leaf's
word.
tea
Hey,
shop.
Yeah.
it means to walk.
No,
Ambulate.
it means to make things glow.
How so?
You can do that. The
I'm
rest of
going
us will
to
walk.
ambulate this room. I'm
We-
going to
we
hang
need-
out in the amulet of this wonderful Starbucks.
What?
I believe you. I believe you.
Shall we go?
Would you like to begin with the ambulation?
What's a Starbucks?
Got him.
I
Before
proceed
we
to walk
go,
down.
will you wait for me just a minute?
Yeah,
can
I
I go find
suppose.
Captain Isaac?
Yeah.
Isaacs.
You
I
know,
Isaac.
should remember.
it's funny because she didn't even give us a minute to respond, but we'll wait for her.
So I'll find Captain Isaacs on the ship.
You find him on the ship. He's attending to some of the maintenance on the ship, just an inspection after a lot of the combat had arisen with the animated plants, just making sure that everything is shipshape.
That's nice.
Hey.
Captain Isaacs?
Yes. Yes,
Sorry
ma'am.
to bother you. I was
Not
just
at all.
wondering if any letters or anything had come for me while we were gone.
I'm sorry, no. Are you expecting something?
Well, I was, but I guess I shouldn't be.
Okay. Well, I will inform my crew to keep an eye out for any letters.
Okay, thanks.
You're welcome, and I know you are all resting, and I hope you had a wonderful, restful night's sleep. But the Admiral would like to speak with you if you do have the ability to return to Gullhaven at some point in the next weeks.
Yeah, I'll talk to the crew. I think that's maybe in the game plan. Sooner rather than later.
No rush.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And I'll scurry back. Thanks for waiting.
Oh, you're welcome.
Well, come on, let's go.
Okay, let's go then.
Alright. Shall we ambulate?
Yeah.
Please begin with the ambulation.
No, it's the middle of the day. I think what you mean is let's ambiance.
And then I'm gonna flourishly walk ahead.
You all take the air.
People in chat got it. Thank you.
As you arrive onto the main deck, and you step down the walkway onto the dock and step out into the harbor, you notice that this is the smallest number of ships that you've seen in this harbor. You'd seen that even after the catastrophic effects of Alphonse's attack on the city, that ships were still coming in for the caravan and the like, and there were still shipments of these from all over the world, various goods, but there seem to be very, very, very few remaining. It seems to be a city that suffered quite a bit. You begin to make your way through. Most of the activity of the locals is rebuilding, repair. You see that some of these massive trees gnarled. You can see where some faces may have been, or some strange masses of vines had crashed through windows, had smashed through roofs, and some are covered in tarps. Others are currently being patched up, and you see Ogway in a new light. What are you guys doing? Where are you guys headed? Just ambulating.
I mean, I suppose that we
Ambiancing.
should we should ambiance towards Master Leaf's tea shop, but kind of just taking our time and and doing whatever we need to do on the way.
I'd like to go through the Sunsteel one too.
Did you say that it looks like they're still participating in the slave trade?
You do not see any ships of that matter.
So that's why I want to go through to see if anything's changed in the Sunsteel Wars. It seemed different.
Okay.
Are there still kind of the does it seem more changed than the other districts?
Got it. Okay. If that's amenable to the rest of the group.
Is that alright?
No, it's not.
Is there a reason?
Because Rodek suggested it.
Oh, no. Do the thing.
I think perhaps maybe it might be of a little bit of benefit for us to just take a walk through and maybe ambiance through the Sunsteel War.
So you agree with Rodek?
No, I'm proposing an entirely different course of action.
Oh. Yeah, no, I think that's a great idea.
Fantastic.
Oh, I like that better. Do you?
I don't want to do it.
Oh, no, I hate his plan. He has the worst plans. Do we really have to do this?
Do what?
Do what he said.
Ambiance through the Sunsteel War.
Of course we do. Vandris is the leader of us.
No one is the leader. We all work together.
He is the.
If you're not the leader, who's leading us?
We are all leading each other.
I suppose we could.
He is the coolest cat in the Pussy Posse.
Oh.
We all simultaneously.
All right.
Would you like to lead the way to the? Would you like to ambiance ahead of us towards the Sunsteel?
I mean, well, if you're gonna suggest it, okay.
You have the brightest ambiance of all of us.
Well, that's not what that word means, but I do.
Sometimes I just make things up.
Don't we all?
I'm just gonna walk ahead.
You do that.
Yeah.
Okay. So, you make your way up through the Magnolia Promenade, seeing the plumes of smoke on the skyline as these patches of formerly animated plants are being burned, seeming ash from the pyres of all of the risen corpses. And now it's just a different enemy. And the rebuilding that they had thought that once an ancient black dragon had come and destroyed things. They were finally rebuilt. And then horrible zombie invasion, they finally rebuilt. And then the swamp started to swallow up the city. There's a lot of hesitation and worry. People grumbling about, well, what's next? What is going to be the next horrible tragedy that's going to befall the city?
McMurderers.
And how long is it going to take to rebuild, truly? And get back to his former glory? Can it get back to his former glory? Eventually, you arrive at the Sunsteel Ward. So, as you cross the main thoroughfare that leads into the beginning of the Sunsteel Ward, you see that much of the open bazaars are no more now than a stand or two. Those that either didn't want to or couldn't afford to leave. A lot of older individuals of humans of all shape and size and color, a variety of races. Several dragonborn, some Aarakocra, looking sullen and serious, but that same look of relief as the rest of the city. And as you make your way through the city, you notice that it feels a little different. That familiar sight of the watchful falcon-headed Aarakocra with their great glaives staring down at you. There's nothing. No watchful eyes, in the sky or in the streets, around corners, as you look for the very familiar ever-present force of the caravan. And you see a number of Dragonborn and Aarakocra and rough-looking individuals scarred up from combat. Maybe even some that you would have recognized, but they might be just sitting at an open bar, looking at a drink. Nothing of the same kind of organized force that you had seen previously.
So they're like less militarized.
Or they have disbanded.
Is there any chance that the caravan just up and left? Maybe that's what Master Leaf wants to talk to us about. They just took off and didn't honor their end of the bargain.
Well,
That Ickis was bad news.
if we
A
stop the
chill.
slave trade here,
A
I
chill?
mean,
Did you see?
No, you did.
Oh.
That's what you. When somebody sneezes, you say a chew.
Oh.
well,
Islington.
if Ickis,
Oh, a chew.
anyway, if they up and leave or they disbanded, then did we successfully stop the slave trade here?
So you said there are people just kind of like meandering about, or ambiancing about?
Yeah.
I'll stroll up to the first individual that I can see and just say, you, there, the one with the face, do you know what happened to the caravan?
Also, what is your first, last name, your brother's name, and what year were you born?
Mother's
What
name.
time of the day? What your mother's maiden name and your social security number?
As the DM writes in his notes.
Kill Sylvie first.
You see a human man, rough, scarred skin, a scimitar hanging at his side and a sash, and he's sitting by the side of one of these bars. And it's the afternoon, and he has a large goblet full of wine. And as you point to him, he looks at you and takes a deep gulp of the wine and wipes it off. And he says, "Who's asking?"
I will walk closer and say, well, of course, I am Vandris Truestrike, the one and only, and you appear to be a man who's much, much smarter than he looks. Nice panache.
How does that work?
He's just charmed.
Like a charm.
Do I need to make a saving throw?
I believe so, yeah. Let me check here.
What's the variety? What stat?
It's been a while.
What
I was
ability
gone
score?
again.
Proceed.
So, he's not hostile to me, right? It just says, as an action, I can make a persuasion check contested by your insight check.
Okay. So make a persuasion check. I rolled my insight.
Sorry. When I was making fun of Rodek for not knowing his skill things, I only said that because I don't know my own. I got a 27.
He gets a 9. As he blinks a little bit, and he's like, "I don't know who you are, friend, but I like your panache."
That was meta. And I give him a wink.
Caravan. They up and left. Split.
Yeah, I mean,
Factions. Ain't no real business. Bringing in Dune Spice no more without bringing in the slaves too.
so you mean Ickis just left with all of his people?
Ickis rounded up some of them.
Bless you.
Gesundheit.
Bless you.
Achu.
Bless you.
Sorry, continue.
Ickis rounded up some of them and headed out east. Said there was plenty more trade that he could get involved with. Agwe was a dead city, and he didn't deal in dead cities. Some didn't want to go with him. Didn't like dealing with giants or Afridi.
So
And
that was going to be my next question. Not all of them went with him.
bunch took a first ship back to Neckbet. Few of us, well, we decided to stick around and see where the wind takes us.
I appreciate you telling me this. You are just as intelligent as I thought you would be.
Thank you, friend. Will you join me for a drink?
I would be honored. We don't have anywhere to really be for the next few hours. Do you have a...
Thank you for determining that for us.
I would be honored.
He buys you a drink. He buys.
I suppose I'll sit down too.
He buys everyone around a full round, a large goblet of wine for everyone.
We might be in a hurry, but quite frankly, I don't know.
And he says, so, why are you all sticking around here in Agua? Everyone has a story.
Well, I'm not sticking around, I guess.
I don't think we'll be here for too long. I mean, we just got back. We kind of went on a little bit of a journey, and we just wanted to make sure everything was all right. We just have everybody's best interest in mind.
Well, ain't you all the kindest souls? I would never stick around in a dump like this if I didn't have to.
Why do you have to, if you don't mind me asking?
Nowhere else to go. At least I can instill a little fear of some of the shopkeepers here, rough them up for some coin.
Sorry?
I told you, you heard me.
Do you really feel like that you have to do that?
What else am I gonna do?
Maybe earn an honest
You
living.
could learn how to do macrame.
Macaroons, I don't like them very much. It's not a taste thing, it's a texture thing.
Do you want to lick my chicken foot, though?
Is it like a chicken leg?
Yeah, look.
Ah!
It's really salty. If you don't like macrame, you might like a chicken foot.
Make a persuade check at advantage because he's charmed.
Persuasion, you say? Sylvie's good at this. She is. 22.
22. Salty, yet satisfying.
Thanks.
Did you really just hand that to someone else?
Yeah, why?
You could have stolen it or broken it.
Were you thinking about stealing my chicken foot?
Well, I wasn't, but it tastes really good, so I'm kind of am now.
Yeah, but it's not in your hands now.
That's true.
But I'm saying before you tasted it, were you thinking about stealing it?
Why would I steal some leftovers from a butcher shop?
See, you dumbass. It's just a fucking chicken foot.
Does it look like clearly like a really nasty old like shriveled up chicken
It
foot?
is a shriveled up, but it has. It's not just a chicken leg. It's tied into charms, and there's that red gauge of blood along it. So it is clearly some kind of chicken leg that's been turned into a charm, but it still looks like a crusty old chicken leg.
We've asked way too many questions about this goddamn chicken leg.
You gotta know for the RP.
Listen, all I'm saying is, have you not tried to maybe find honest work with some of the other factions? They're still here. Everybody's looking for the good of Agwe, and there's probably work to be done.
That's what it looks like.
Well, I don't know if the Bushwhackers and the Jade Iris are gonna taking any of us former caravan enforcers.
Well, if you prove that you can be helpful, I don't see why not. They're reasonable people.
What was your name again?
My name's Vargo.
Oh,
Fargo.
that's like embargo, but spelled differently.
Vargo Jerems.
Ew. Not you, I was thinking about beetles.
I don't care for beetles much.
Neither, that's why I said ew.
Well, this has been lovely. Let me tell you, I could not be more pleased with meeting you on a random day. But maybe at best we be going.
Yeah, I don't see why it wouldn't be.
Thank you for the drink, sir, and if you see us again, don't hesitate. Maybe hesitate to stop us.
Yeah, and then also on top of that, like maybe stop stealing and stuff, you know?
There's no need to rough anybody up for
Shake
coin.
down on the people.
That's what I'm saying. Find some honest work.
Because you know what? And this is something I say to everyone I meet. You know?
That was it, that's all you're saying.
Well, I catch your meaning.
That's the whole RP.
That's it.
I mean, I didn't want to steal. I was gonna scavenge. I picked apart a few of the
How much
rooms.
money do you have?
I got a few silver to my name.
Give us all your money.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Well, here's 100 monies from me.
And I'm gonna give him 100 gold.
Oh.
Now you don't need to steal from nobody no more.
I've never seen this much gold in my entire
Well, you
life.
might want to put it away before someone like you takes it from you.
Ah.
Because wouldn't that suck if I just gave you 100 gold and some ruffian came up behind you and stole it from you?
That would feel pretty bad, huh?
I'd like to see him try.
Get
But
your
if
life
they
together.
did it, wouldn't that suck?
I wouldn't care for that.
So now you're not going to do that anymore, right? Because you got 100 gold. You can literally buy your own shop. You can make macaroons or salty chicken feet. You could do really cool things.
Like pickled chicken feet.
Exactly. They could be called Embargo's pickled chicken feet.
Now I may just
Pickled chicken feet embargo.
Yeah.
I may learn how to cook. That's a fine idea.
Just get your life together and stop being a criminal. These are new times. The caravan is gone.
Yeah,
You don't need them.
The entire town is being rebuilt. That means there are lots of dead people with land unclaimed that you could probably buy super cheap with 100 gold.
It's a buyer's
You could be
market.
a businessman,
There-
and you could have a hot wife.
Oh, a hot wife. How
Not
hot?
guaranteed.
Well, that's not guaranteed, but you might.
You could.
Work hard.
Oh, women like gold. That's true.
Yeah,
And you've got a lot right there.
I have 100 gold pieces. Yeah.
And do you know what else women like?
confidence, kindness.
Kindness, that's the one I was.
Yeah. An
A
honest
sense of humor,
living.
perhaps?
Not in my experience.
Can you tell us a joke?
And a really, really, really large pineapple.
I don't know any jokes. Do I look like I know jokes?
You might want to learn some.
It couldn't hurt.
Tell me a joke then, and I'll commit it to memory.
This sounds like we've been bamboozled.
What?
Well, no, we need to help this guy be funny. If he's going to
No, we
find a
don't.
dame.
Let me dig into my Dadius list.
Look, at the end of the day, as long as you're striving to be good, things will eventually work out for you. Work hard, work strong, get your hustle on, and take that gold and become better.
I've got
Okay,
a-
Embargo?
I've got a fantastic joke if you don't mind.
Do you have a pen? A quill?
Quill.
A quill?
Yeah, you might want
Pens
to write this
probably
down.
exist.
It's
Pens
one.
exist. Pens exist. He pulls out a little notebook and
Are you ready?
I can
Set on your
try to commit it to memory.
All right, here we go.
Is that my motherfucking pen?
I know.
It's a green gel pen.
That was Mickey to Mikey, now I'm still me to Fargo.
A gorilla walked into a bar and ordered a banana martini. The bartender found this strange and realized that he was dreaming. He woke up from his dream and told his wife what happened. His wife just rolled over and fell back to sleep. The man began to sob quietly, realizing that his marriage was in shambles. That's the whole joke.
Wait,
Make a performance check.
what's the punchline? Did I miss it?
The part where his marriage is in shambles.
Andrus, I think we
don't
should
think
talk
they-
about this.
As someone who is charismatic
I got a 12.
and proficient in entertaining, I don't want to be blunt when I say that you should probably not become a comedian.
Oh.
You have a special sense of humor.
I mean, I thought that was
Well,
fantastic.
I wouldn't even say it was special. I'd say it's pretty bland.
I don't get it.
All
Kate
right.
just questions the entire, like...
Why is it a gorilla?
Yeah, why is it a gorilla?
I mean, why not?
Is it a growlin?
It's just the way that it just happened that
Where
way.
did you hear that joke? Did you make that up?
It's Elvish. It's old. It probably sounds better in Elvish, to be honest.
So you didn't make it up.
No, it's
Oh, so it's not your
Elvish?
fault then.
I of course it's not
It's
my
the
fault.
elves' fault.
No, probably.
Oh.
Again, it sounds
Those
better
damn
in Elvish.
elves.
I mean, let's be realistic.
What do
No,
you know?
let's not go that far, please.
Those damn dirty elves.
Okay, Rodak. Jesus.
Take it easy. It's the
I was
current year,
quoting
dwarf.
Charlton Heston, damn it.
All right, I've got one more. How about another try?
Well,
Sure.
it's the last one I'll take.
Hold on. Can I have a glass of wine first?
He gets another glass of wine.
Chug it.
Go ahead.
A man walks into a bar, he
Yeah.
sits down and he has a drink. He stays late and he has another drink, and the next day he does the same thing and again until his family is absolutely torn asunder by his crippling alcoholism.
Make a performance check at disadvantage.
Yeah, but you think I'm funny, damn it!
We all
But you
think
said
you're funny.
disadvantage? Damn it, this is like one thing I'm not proficient in. So I can't roll like well. Fuck, I got an 8.
He's writing it down. Then as you finish the joke, he looks at you and says, "I think I'll maybe try to learn how to cook instead of try to be funny."
No one here can say that I didn't try.
Do you want to hear a joke?
I mean, if we're sharing jokes.
Oh no, I wasn't going to offer one. I just wanted to know if you wanted to hear one. That was all.
Not particularly. Not anymore.
Good day, sir. Thank you for the drink. We must be
thank you for
going.
the
It's
wine.
getting late.
Well, thanks. Now I don't have to raid the Beastmaster's kennel anymore. Oh, that was.
Wait, what?
What? Again?
Beastmaster's kennel?
Why would you raid that place?
Well, they got a beast in there. They just left, and they took all the hyenas.
Well, why don't you take this opportunity to make sure that beast is okay?
I was gonna take it and use it for its pelt.
You're just the worst.
Surely it must have other things. Is it a beast of burden?
What kind
What
of
can it
beast
do?
is it?
It was lion. They were trying to riding lion.
Lions.
And you don't think that might have some better purpose than you just slaughtering it for its
Yeah,
pelt?
okay, I'm gonna query you this, embargo, okay? And I'm gonna query you thoroughly. Why would you make a pelt out of something you could ride off into the sunset on? Think about this, embargo. A pelt, a vehicular. Which one has more value?
I think people would care for the pelt more, frankly.
But if you could speedily get from one place to another, or have a coat.
Well, I suppose that you could use a horse to speedily get from one
But
place
Jack
to
Horse
another.
doesn't have a horse.
No.
I do now.
Yeah,
He holds up
exactly.
a few
But
gold pieces.
that's like the stupidest thing you've ever said, Rodek, because, he could just use a horse. Yeah, but when he gets there, can his horse completely devour the body of his enemy? No. But a lion sure as hell can. Hey, trusty lion, let's ride off into the sunset and kill motherfuckers. You can't do that with a horse.
That is objectively true.
Or a pelt.
Well, I ain't no beastmaster or tamer. I was just gonna try to give it the business end of my scimitar. It's looking pretty sickly, but I'm still a dangerous wild animal.
I think maybe you need to take the gold that you've been gifted from our dear friend Sylvie here and try to turn your life around. Whether that be taking care of this beast and maybe opening up your own stables, expand the stables, start your own livery, and do what you can.
I don't
That's a
really
grand
think that
idea.
it's okay to take people's livers.
I didn't mean it like that, but I understand now
I
how
heard a
that came
story
across.
once about a guy who woke up in a bathtub covered in ice.
I've traded in livers before.
Yeah, I don't want you to start a livery.
That's actually not a bad idea.
Yeah,
Thanks, friend.
No, it's horrible.
He gets up.
You don't want to be a delivery driver. It's awful delivering livers.
I'm not sure that you've taken our point.
Oh, you're right. I won't deliver them. I'll just collect them.
I'm feeling
No,
like
no.
this was gold well spent, friends.
Well-
and that we should head on our way.
The sun's getting real low. I suppose we ambiance on forward.
We can have all the tabaxis keep an eye on him, and if he does anything out of order, they can just instantly kill him. Good day.
Did you hear that?
Them catfolk, well, they don't got very valuable livers anyway, so I'm sure
I
it'll be
don't
fine.
know the value of a cat's liver, to be honest, but so we're not mincing
cats
words.
have-
If you don't
Do
keep on the
cats
street
have
and
livers?
narrow,
Embargo? Do they?
do they?
Do cats have livers?
Probably.
I imagine so.
I think everything has one liver, I suppose, per cat.
It's probably a safe bet.
Okay.
Well, goodbye.
Anyways.
He turns and walks away.
Time for us to be hitting the old
And
dusty trail.
he's grinning and whistling as he's counting his gold pieces as he walks away.
I feel as though
want to
that could've gone better.
dispel major illusion, and they're no longer. I'm just kidding. They really gave him gold.
I feel as though that didn't go the direction that we had originally hoped.
What were you hoping
Really
for?
poorly.
Yeah, what
And
was
I
your
don't
plan?
think he really took my meaning, but if he fucks up, I'll kill him.
Well, we're not going to resort to murder,
I will.
as our Scottish friend here said. The point is, I really just wanted to go up there and find out what happened to the caravan, and it seems that they've kind of fucked off into to wherever Annulin's mother might be.
Yeah.
Which is really the important point, but then we kind of just started going off on the thing, and I don't even know where I got those jokes
So
from.
speaking of which, what's the plan for Annulin's mom?
We need to get
Our mom.
we need to get Orpheus. We need to get on mounts. We have a cart coming with it. We need a new cart or a cart.
We had a new cart being made.
And then
Yeah,
we need
I
to
believe it's on the
Can
way.
we call it a nart for short?
Sure. And then we need to figure out where we're going based on if Orpheus is not jerking us around. If he actually knows where Annulin's mother is. And then that's what we do. We save
And then
her.
what about your brother? Is he gonna meet us there?
I just full scowl. No, he's not.
Why?
What do you mean no?
Because he's a jerk.
What do you mean?
I thought I told you. Didn't I tell you that I got a letter from him?
Just in case.
Just kind of a little bit, but I don't think you really went into detail.
I don't even want to go into detail now. Basically, he's just a big pussy. And
Oh no, he's one of us.
No.
Not that
No.
he's just wrapped up with the Thorn Mother, and he doesn't know what he's talking about, but he's completely overtaken by her. He's not going to help us.
Do you want to spy on him?
Well, maybe.
Kind of like when we looked on your mom and see what he's doing? I've met him, so it should be easier.
Do we need to be
true.
stationary while this happens?
Yeah, for a little bit.
Maybe let's find a little place off the main thoroughfare here and see if we can find a spot where you can do your thing.
I'm saying we could probably do it tonight before we go to bed.
Oh, that's fine. If
I
it
don't
can
really
wait.
want to kind of stand off the side of the road and be like, woo,
No, I agree.
magic.
It would be kind of weird.
And we also should probably be getting to Master Leaf as soon as possible.
Do you think it's a wee bit
Because
weird?
I just can't figure out what's more important than saving your mom. And
What
if
about-
all he's telling you is no, then we need to find out what it is he's
Something's
doing.
not right with him.
No,
He's
so we
acting
should
so
look
much
in on him.
differently.
We should check the receipts.
Then let's talk to Master Leaf, and then tonight, if depending on if we end up back in Gullhaven and maybe we're in the mansion or we can relax, we can discuss this. What were you going to say?
So
Yeah, and so then I was also thinking that it's really important for us to have a pajama party.
We can do that. That
Yeah,
would
because
be
I think you'll be really
lovely.
sad, depending on what we see.
I'm already pretty sad.
Yeah, and I think it could get worse, so we should prepare to have a pajama party.
alright.
And so then I was also thinking that, you know that soup place that's in town?
Ooh.
Oh,
Do you guys want to go? Yeah, you guys want to see if it still exists and we can get some soup in a bread bowl?
if it
Gosh,
does,
I
that would be
remember.
fantastic. Ramen is Watashi's favorite.
I know, and I just love
Who's
chowder.
Watashi?
It's an Elvish word. Don't worry about it.
Oh.
It's not a word I know.
It's a high Elvish word. Don't worry about it.
Oh, he did not.
Now, my point
And so then I was
is
also
that when
thinking,
Stomater is using my voice really loud.
oh my god!
Isn't it weird that he mentioned a lion and that there's a lion in what Madame Zostra's prophecy?
Rhoda.
Wait, what?
No, Vandris. That was incredibly rude, Rhoda. To interrupt me when I'm talking.
And anyway, do you think it's a clue? If I'm remembering correctly, but I guess now we know it was Baba Yaga in her crystal ball visions.
Don't
it
say
says-
her name out loud in the middle of the
in-
street, you
in
dumb dwarf.
If you say it
Wanda.
one more time, she'll show up.
Yeah.
What should we call her? Madame Zostra? Is that fine?
No. Call her Yababaga.
Yagabab?
Call
Kebab.
her Shish Kebab.
Well, Yaga Baba,
Yeah, Yagababa. That's a good one.
Yaga Baba, in her crystal ball, she mentioned, if I'm remembering exactly correctly, something about a lion in a den.
No.
A white lion on a golden morning or something.
At bright dawn.
Yeah. Oh, so we should go check to see if the lion is, like, not yellow like lion is wont to be.
Look, at the very least, I want to get it out of there so that asshole doesn't stab it.
Yeah, because you know what we could also do?
What?
We could make it our friend.
More pets?
Well,
Please,
so
Rhoda.
I was thinking, so just hear me out, okay? Bandris has a really odd-looking chicken.
What is that supposed to mean?
You have a goat. Annulin has a bee and a double-headed rooster.
Don't insult Piccolo like that!
But I don't have any kind of animal.
You have your broom.
My broom isn't an animal. It's made of wood.
Do you want to tame this lion? Is that what you're getting at?
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know if we need to tame it.
Yeah, and
I just-
and you know who would be so good at taming lions?
Anyway.
And yeah, shut up! I was gonna say that.
I'm sorry,
It was
Hold
rhetorical.
on, we'll do it again. You know who would be so good at taming animals?
Yeah, that was...
Annulin.
Wow.
And then I'm gonna use minor illusion to do sparkles all around her.
They
Wow.
sparkle.
All right. Do we have time to head over there before we hit Master Leaf's place?
I think we do. I just want to see if there's any kind of clue or anything. If she knew something, if this is the same lion, or perhaps there's another lion she was referring to.
You know, I don't think he was lying about the lion.
I knew that was
Touche.
coming. I knew it.
I would say
Well,
I'm fine.
I didn't until I said it.
I'm fine to see if there's anything there, but is there any chance that basically now that we know who Madame Zostra is, that the rest of this is just kind of null and void and there's nothing really to figure out? I mean, what? Why? I'm not saying that's the case. I'm just playing devil's advocate here. I want to make sure.
Bandris, at the end of the day, you made us sit down and have wine with a criminal and you give my money away. So if we want to capture and tame a lion, I don't think that's asking too much.
You're right. You're not asking too much. I don't think I forced you to give your money away, and to be honest,
He
I
lost
didn't.
control of that situation completely, and if
I
that
didn't
guy
know
has to be
these-
murdered by me because he didn't listen, it's on you.
You know, and
I will happily accept that blood on
just
my
think
hands.
about that. If not only that guy has to be murdered by Annulin, but he also murders the lion before he gets murdered by Annulin.
Fine. Let's go.
That's
Let's go.
gonna be a problem.
We hurry.
Let's go.
Do we know roughly where the livery is that he was discussing?
You actually do remember a kennel of giant hyenas that was
Yes.
actually by the old barn that the Taiki was staying.
As soon as they give me the guilt trip, I basically jump behind Annulin and start pushing her and like towards the direction of the livery.
That's probably for the best. If there's a lock to be picked, she's gonna be the one that
Oh,
can do it.
God damn it! And I just keep pushing her.
You make your way through the city, and deeper and deeper into the Sunsteel Ward you go, and it seems as if as you get closer to the edge, streets that you had seen before now empty out into ruins in the swamp, seemingly having sunk in.
like high tide almost.
Yeah, almost as if the swamp had just completely encroached and just swallowed it up. And as you avoid those alleyways and those streets, you continue to where you had been led at first by Mina. And you eventually arrive at where you had seen that kennel where some giant hyenas and other beasts had been taken in. And as you approach, I need you to make a group perception check, please.
Group perception
If
check.
you say so.
I got a 16.
16?
23.
23.
Your perception's pretty high.
I got a 25.
No, I'm distracted by Vanders pushing me.
Okay, so as a group,
25 and a 23.
25,
I didn't
23,
follow
yeah.
my dice juju.
I will say that that's a group success. As you approach, as you get closer and closer, you remember hearing the loud snickering and bickering and fighting and yelping of those giant hyenas and various other beasts that were in this kennel when you first passed it. And it seems to be relatively quiet as you approach this kennel. There's blood all over the floor. The pen where they had done the training and the fighting of these beasts is completely torn apart, rifled through, almost as if it had been just torn apart and they picked up and left overnight. And as you all approach, you all hear the low, the labored, heavy breathing of some kind of animal in the kennel ahead as the door is left slightly ajar. This large double kennel door.
Well, luckily we don't have to pick a lock, so that means that Vandris should go first.
Whoa. While I'm not necessarily concerned about going first, I thought this was Annulin's shtick.
Well, yes, and when it brutally attacks you, Annulin needs to be the one not being attacked, so she can calm it down. And if anyone can handle the attacking of a lion, it's someone as muscular as you.
No, isn't Annulin good with animals?
Yes, do you not listen?
They're using me as a meat shield, Brodak, and it's...
I don't think we should treat... I think we should all move in together, calmly.
Right.
Peacefully.
I mean, he's probably terrified. I bet he's cowardly.
If we all think it's going to attack us, it's going to think it should attack us.
Are you going to lead the way then, or am I?
I think we should all move as one. Slowly.
I'm with Annulin on this one. Just tell me what to do.
Here's a
And maybe like
T-bone
some
steak.
soothing purring noises as
Rub
we
this
go.
on your body, Rodak, and go in first.
Are there any chairs nearby?
Pretty shut.
I want to kind of bullwhip in a chair.
There is actually a kicked over chair in the yard of this kennel. And you actually do see a couple whips that are kind of shredded in various states. Chains are strewn about, large collars seemingly broken.
I don't do that.
Wise choice.
You see a number of brands with that same symbol by a hot fire pit. Well, rather the pit is now cool, but it would have been for hot fire as opposed to not hot fire.
I see.
Oh no, he's
Like
spitting
hot
hot
lava.
fire.
Alright, Annulin, do your thing, please.
I'm gonna start moving towards the lions slowly and like kind of usher them along with me. And
Okay.
do some purring noises.
As you all go as a group, slowly, annually doing some purring noises, you peek into the ajar door, and the smell immediately hits you. Smell of blood and flesh and waste. As you look inside and you see a completely filthy kennel. As there are various stalls and several pits and huge slabs covered in pieces of flesh and bone and rotting meat, some hooks still hanging with maybe a side of elk that had turned, or other various scraps that these creatures had eaten. And you see, very faintly off in the corner, a clump of fur. A large clump of fur that seems to be...
Oh no.
A clump of fur that is just as red as it is of this deep golden color of hair matted with blood. And you, as soon as you step in purring, you hear the rattling of chains, and you hear low growl.
I'm gonna start prestidigitationing him clean.
Okay, make an animal handling check at advantage.
I'm also going to just take all of the, like, any dried meat rations that I have on me, I'm going to take out of my pouch.
Okay.
And just kind of have in my hand.
As Sylvie's cleaning them off, I take out my notebook and with Madame Zostra's
19.
readings, and I just want to see what color the lion is.
The lion, as you all approach, as you're doing your purring, it turns to you with these piercing eyes that have a mixture of fear, but also of primal self-preservation. as if it is getting ready to pounce if it seems to be in danger. And you see that there is a thick collar around its neck that seems to be wearing the flesh raw around its throat. As it's matted in blood and it looks at you, it bares its teeth a little bit, but it's there's also some weakness in there, and you're starting to pull out rations and dried meat and the like as you start approaching it. Sylvie, as you're prestidigitationing, you see that patches of his fur are starting to get cleaned up a little bit. That same golden color of the fur is starting to return with every cast of the spell, and the blood is starting to get cleaned off, revealing wounds where it had been stabbed and poked and yanked in the chains. You see that there's actually also some rawness around. I guess lions don't have wrists, but like around the paw, where the paw would connect. Ankle. An ankle. A wrist or an ankle.
So it matches the description from the fortune.
Well, it's golden and not white.
Yes.
And what was I was in the restroom. Do you remember what the actual?
Yeah, so I pulled out my notebook.
I just didn't know if you
say. So her crystal ball vision was a white lion on a bright morning.
I'm gonna, while they're talking about that, I'm just gonna toss a piece of meat, kind of close, but enough that we have to move to get to it.
Okay.
If you two are kind of doing the lion thing, we are a step or two behind.
Yeah.
I want to say things to Rodek, but I'm gonna let you do your thing first. I just have comments that I want to like while you're doing it.
Okay. So the ladies approach.
When it moves, I want to cast Cure Wounds on it from my staff.
Okay.
Your flute.
Or my flute, I'm sorry.
Make it stronger before it eats us.
I want to make it feel better.
And to do this, I have to use Lumi because it's touch. So
yes.
Lumi is going to be behind it, invisible at first, and then she'll transfer the touch spell to it.
Okay, to see if it's distracted, Annulin, how about you make another animal handling check at advantage? As you see Annulin take the meat out of her pack and toss it. 23. As it tosses forward, and the eyes snap to you as it sees the movement. And as soon as you release the meat, however, it sees it flying through the air, and its eyes immediately widen and looks at it, and its attention is immediately turned away from you and away from Lumi. As you see Lumi's little hand glow and you play a little ditty on your flute, the Nickelodeon jingle. and
Feel that line up.
and you see some of the wounds start to close up with that. How much healing was it?
Oh shit, I have still here. 14.
14. Got it.
14 points of healing.
As Lumi uses Cure Wounds, and the lion lunges forward weakly. And, however, as it lands on its paws, you hear the rattling of chains, and you see that the collar still seems to be connected to a chain connected to the wall of this filthy pen that it's in, as it immediately starts tearing into the meat, and it wolfs it down and swallows almost immediately. As once it finally finishes its meal, it lays down a little bit, its paws forward, and as it looks at you, you can see that even though this is a weak creature, its claws are sharp, as are its teeth, and it's looking at you discerningly.
Go ahead. Why don't we do it?
Just while all this is happening, having Rodek looked at his notebook, I'm going to lean over to him just because I notice that they're very busy, and I'm going to be quiet, but not keeping it from them. I'm just gonna say, no, I'm not advocating that we don't help this creature because I think that's the right thing to do. But weren't we pretty explicit in not trying to play into Baba Yaga's hands?
Well, I mean, if you look and you see, like, my notebook is full of notes, and there are all these arrows and stuff, Ezra's clearly been thinking a lot about it. I mean, here's the thing, she was right about a lot of it. And we don't know if she has any ill will against us at all. She's given Sylvia all of her powers, and I'm not saying she's good at all, and we should trust her, but I mean, a lot of this, it's eerily accurate. And she strengthened she brought me back into the fold with Moradin.
fine. And I guess my other point brings me to point number 2 is as I understand, according to your notes there, that this lion doesn't quite match the description, but what if a white lion in the early morning were to be a golden color?
That's a fair point. I want to look around for any other kind of morning effigies or anything.
Out of character for a second,
Yeah.
because I feel like I dreamed a whole fucking episode. I thought she was Baba Yaga.
She's Baba Yaga.
Oh,
Yes.
do we know that?
Yes.
Okay.
We know that, but Rodek isn't convinced that she's a...
Got it.
Rodek's like totally sold on all the fortune teller stuff.
So even though we
So-
know she's Baba Yaga, Rodek believes that she's still clairvoyant.
Sometimes
and
I
gave
think
him-
things in my head that didn't happen. I wanted to
Me
clarify.
too. Me too.
So while that's happening, you're going to hate me so much. With Lumi behind him, I'm going to use her to cast tongues on the lion so he can speak to us. It just says
Does that
a
work?
creature. That's all it says, is a creature.
Holy fuck.
Let me look up the actual
This
word.
spell grants the creature you touch the ability to understand any spoken language it hears. Moreover, when the target speaks, any creature that knows at least one language and can hear the target understands what it says. Since we all know a language, we'll be able to understand what it says.
But it is not. Is not capable of language. It's not capable of speech. It's a lion. It isn't.
Yes, but we can talk to it, is my point.
It will be able to.
It will be able to understand anything that we
Affirm
say.
it.
What's
give direction.
what's its intelligence score? Because like, if its intelligence isn't even like a certain like point, it won't even be able to like understand language.
Can you cast Speak with Animals?
So they can. You had some way to talk to.
I have speak with small beasts.
Oh,
because
that's
I'm a gnome.
okay. Got it.
So I
got
can
it.
talk
I
with like
don't
rats
right now, but
and
in
things.
my potential rework possibly.
Okay.
So,
That would be good to have.
That'd be,
I had it at one point and I got rid of it, and then I don't know why. I think I just got rid of a bunch of stuff.
Do it and then retcon it later.
Yeah.
Thanks, Mike!
We're waiting for the official ruling.
So while we're waiting, how's chat doing this lovely evening?
Yeah, chat.
We've got
You're right.
one Twist of Fate.
It allows the animal to understand. It cannot speak,
Right.
but it magically grants them the ability to understand common.
So
Or
it won't be able to reply to
It
us.
can't well.
Like body language
Well,
style.
All right.
It
all
can
right.
it can understand,
Holy
but
shit.
Blink once,
Yeah.
blink twice.
Yeah.
Or don't blink. I don't know.
that's amazing.
So I guess my point is that, there may be some clues here, but I have reservations about just playing into Baba Yaga's hands.
Well, I agree, but my point is I think we should not just throw out everything she's given us so far.
Fair.
She's been helping us every step of the way, and for all we know, her consuming the souls of all those people may have been for the best. And I don't want to assume because I don't know, but at this point, I don't have enough evidence to believe she's a villain. Beyond being a horrific hag.
I don't necessarily believe that Sylvie will agree with you, but I understand where you're coming from. I understand.
So, you see Lumi's hand glow as there's a soft glow around the lion's head as it looks at you still discerningly as it kind of backs up a little bit, and not like it's going to pounce, but it's still watching your every movement.
So I don't know if I would see that and recognize what the spell is, but just when it kind of eats the meat and like lays down and is calm, it's like that's good. That's good. It's gonna be okay now.
Oh yeah, I just cast tongues on it so it can hear what we're saying. Hi, lion.
What?
We're trying to help you.
As soon as it is, for the first time in its life, capable of understanding speech of these creatures, its eyes widen and it looks around confused. It's like, that gif of the Russian girl who puts the flower on the cat.
Yeah.
That starts happening with the lion. And it blinks and lets out a roar, and
That was a
then
great lion impression. Mike.
it hunkers down, and its eyes are wide in confusion. It starts to back up a little bit, but it seems to understand you.
Angela, calm it
It's
down.
okay. It's okay.
Lion, we healed you a little bit, Lion. We're so sorry that the other peoples were so mean to you, and we hope that you will feel better soon and your belly will be full.
I'm gonna walk. Can I like guesstimate where the end of its chain is?
Yes. You see the chain. It's clumped on the floor and linked on the floor, and runs to a large hook on the wall that's fastened there. And as it looks, as its eyes turn to you, Sylvia, as you say that, you see that there's a little bit of calmness that comes to it as you say that from the soothing, concerned tone and words that you have. As Annulin, you look down the chain.
I'm gonna walk to the edge of the chain and just kind of sit cross-legged on the floor and put the meat out of, toss it out a couple feet in front of me, out of my length of arm, but.
Okay.
Lion, my name's Sylvie, and your name is Lion. This is Annulin, and Vandris, and Rodek, and if you'll let me approach you, I would like to make you feel a little bit better again. Put both of your paws out in front of you. If you will allow me to approach you and put my hand on your body.
We want to help.
Make an animal handling check at advantage as Annulin throws the meat out.
You must be hungry.
Are there any
17.
17. The lion looks at you and extends both of its paws out, and then kind of commando crawls towards the meat. Towards the meat, and then eats the meat that Annulin provided it.
Annulin, does its collar mechanism have any kind of lock? Does it appear that there's any way to release him?
I'll check because I'm an expert at locks.
I know you've heard all of that, Lion. So that means that Annulin is also going to come close to you, okay? And we're going to try and find a way to get you out. And so if we get you out, can you please not eat us?
I don't want you to be scared.
We will keep feeding you and making you feel better as long as you're nice to us. We will be nice to you.
We have
And
water too.
I'm going to move forward, and I'm going to sit down right in front of him and kind of make eye contact with him, and I'm going to slowly pet his head while I once again cast Cure Wounds on him.
Okay. You do that. Let me know what
I'm
you
gonna check out the collar and see if
Okay.
there's a lock.
As Sylvie says that, and you approach, let's have both of you make animal handling checks at advantage.
Well, let me roll my Cure Wounds, okay, Mike?
I think it's advantage.
12.
12? Okay.
And then, animal handling at advantage?
Yep.
Ooh. An 8.
An 8. Okay. So, he seems to be a little bit skittish with this strange, sudden understanding of
13,
language.
right.
As he gets pumped full of healing, and you start to see that more of his wounds are closing up. The oozing of blood is starting to dissipate. As Sylvie cures wounds, Annulin, you, however, it still seems to understand what you're trying to do, and it raises its neck. And as you see around this heavy iron collar, there is a heavy lock on it that seems to, and you see a joint on one side that seems to open up, but it's still heavily locked.
I forgot what roll unlocks locks.
What?
What roll unlocks locks?
Dex.
You have to do a dex check, but you don't have a lockpick set.
Use tools.
Okay, so
They're
I
my
can't
tools.
How did I unlock that lock?
I gave them to you.
Oh.
And you
okay.
rolled disadvantaged because you're not.
So I'm gonna look at the collar and like it's pretty locked. I'm sure I could get it open, but Vandris, maybe you don't seem like you're busy right now. Maybe you want to take a look at it.
Lion, do we have your permission to allow another one of us to approach you? Please put both paws forward if that's a yes.
You see its eyes survey like a predator over towards Rodek and Vantis, who's been hanging back. It seems to have some sort of recognition, and then turns to you, and then its paws forward.
You can approach Vandris.
I reach into my pack and I pull out the thieves' tools, and I pull out one lockpick tool, and I walk towards the lion very visibly, and it's going to be fine. Just give me a moment, and you'll be free, and everything will be fine. And I go to work on the lock.
Okay, make a lockpick check.
It's just Dex plus proficiency, right?
Yep.
21.
21. That's pretty darn good. Although this is a relatively intricate lock, you're not used to this kind of design. It's probably some sort of Nekbeshan device. You are able to figure it out after several seconds, and you hear a as the lock pops open, and the lion breathes out this sigh of relief as the tension releases from this collar, and you see the red flesh that's been rubbed raw, and where the fur has been totally torn off from this collar around its neck, and it lets out a as it seems to be very relieved to have this collar off.
I'm gonna just reach out and pet it and say, please don't run away, and cast Cure Wounds.
Okay, you do that and make an animal handling check at advantage.
9.
9.
Sure bad.
Okay. You all are working together to help this lion, and it seems many of its wounds have been healed at this point. And you see that as you're petting the mane, the wild magic from your ranger background glows around the neck, and the open wounds seem to close up, and what's left is this pink scar material. And the lion shakes, and the collar lands to the ground with a clang, and it lets out this low purr of satisfaction that it's finally free from this torment that it had been under. However, it does not move as it looks around at all four of you.
So, Lion, like I said, I'm Sylvie, and I have magic, so I was able to make you understand us. And you can understand us for a little under an hour now. That's, you understand language, so you get the gist of what that means. And, so my concern is this, that we heard that you were here, because people were coming, and please don't be afraid, but they were coming to take your pelt from you, and we wanted to prevent that. My fear is if you leave here, and you're not accompanied, that someone will get you while you're still weak. So, I would like you to come with us, Lion, and we'll feed you and take care of you, and when you're strong, you can choose to go if you want, or you can choose to stay.
I can't promise anything, but if you remember where you came from, at some point we could try to get you back there.
And, I can do this at least once a day, so, we can talk to you during the day, kind of, and you can let us know if you're satisfied, or, if you need a PR manager or something.
Whichever, make a animal handling check at advantage, please.
Why?
Might have been really bad. 14. The trepidation and fear in this lion's eyes starts to dissipate a little bit as its eyes narrow a little bit as it lets out this loud, low growl and sigh as it seems to be very tired. However, it heaves itself up very slowly and takes a few steps forward on its huge paws as it stops directly in front of all four of you and looks around and just lets out a roar.
You're so good at lion RP.
Well, we don't know what your name is, Lion. So, if you're okay with it, I think I'm gonna call you Leo.
Isn't that a bit cliche?
I don't like quiche.
And then I'm gonna
Come on, Leo.
and then I'm gonna lead him to the stable.
While I agree that we can't leave this creature here, is Master Leaf going to be okay if we just roll up with a lion?
Well, I think he's gonna have to be okay because Leo is a good lion.
All right.
Mr. Lion, do you like the name Leo?
Put your paws out if you like the name Leo, or if you really don't give a shit.
Or scowl if you think it's a wee bit.
I know this is a lot of social pressure to put on you in the first 15 minutes of meeting you.
It might be a little rude, but I also thought we could call you Scar.
The lion hurts itself in confusion.
The lion looks around
Put your right paw out for Scar and your left paw out for Leo.
in confusion. How about we do
Do we
those?
know if the lion is a girl or a boy lion?
It is a large
Yeah,
mane.
it's a-
so
Oh,
it's
it
a
is.
boy
It's a
lion.
male. Okay.
So I would say those in favor of Scar roll a persuasion check, and those in favor of Leo roll a persuasion check.
Are those our only two options?
You didn't come up with any.
Wait, who's rolling for what?
We don't know until we all roll.
I think I prefer Leo.
Alright, I've got my roll.
I've got mine.
Got mine.
And this is what? What do you say, persuasion?
Yeah. Or if there's another name you want to.
Oh yeah. Okay. So.
Mandris doesn't do that. He's going with the given choices. Mandris isn't coming up with a name for this bad
Trying to
boy.
think of the lion's name in the movie.
What movie?
The like bookends or some shit. 2 lions or some.
With
What?
Haley Joel Osment.
That's the one.
Secondhand Lions.
Secondhand lions. That's the one.
I don't know the name of the lion.
I don't know.
Okay, are we?
Leo.
So are we voting? Who's voting? You're voting for Leo?
Huh? Oh no, I didn't say that.
Oh, okay.
I mean, yes,
No,
I am.
That's what I'm asking. Yeah. When
Yeah.
are we revealing which is what?
I got a 10 for
Scar,
Leo.
Scar or Leo first?
10 for Leo.
You want to do Leo first?
Let's do Leo's.
I got an 18 for Leo.
I got a 31 for Leo.
I think we're all voting.
I got a 21 for Leo, I guess.
I guess it's unanimous.
Well, in a persuasion contest, it's 0 to 87.
Give or take a few.
The lion looks around at all of you. It does not seem to really care. It does not seem to have the concept of names. As it
Whatever, loser.
as
Just
it,
go feed me some meat, you bitches.
as that seems to be the situation. As it continues to just walk past you a little bit and look around the filthy kennel that you are in, and it lets out this and just continues to walk.
Now, I can't imagine a creature like this is native to Ogway, so we just need to be careful and make sure that no one that approaches us or does anything out of the ordinary.
Nose literally hit the nail on the head with what he just said. That is exactly what we just did.
We have to read it out loud.
I think we should
Do it.
name him Leo. No, we should name him Leo. I disagree. Leo sounds much better.
So
I didn't like the alternative!
So I'm glad that we're all in disagreement that Leo is the best.
No, there's a clause that we may think of something better at some point. He clearly doesn't care.
Oh man.
I'll
that's
So as
funny.
we're walking out the door, I'm
So
gonna like
funny.
just reach down into the dirt and like sprinkle it a little on his back and cast a long strider and say, if anybody tries to go after you, just run as fast as you can, and it increases his speed.
Okay.
Lastly, as the line is now up and moved, I
Yeah.
want to investigate the shit out of the surrounding area.
Okay.
Just
do that.
just his his holding
Yeah.
cell
Yeah.
for the most part. 21.
21. You poke around and you see bits of bone and matted fur. All of the flesh in the area where it seemed to be in the radius of where his chain could reach has been picked clean as he's had been desperately surviving on scraps. And you look around, you see bits of hay to absorb some of the waste, and you see bits of tools. You see a ruined a chain whip and a variety of different things, but it seems as if this kennel had been picked clean. You see the remnants of a number of various predator creatures that had been kept here, prominently giant hyenas. But it looks as if like the caravan members that had been here had just packed up very quickly and left.
Then after that, I'll just, as I assume we're leaving the area, I'll just move towards Rodek in the group and say, I didn't find anything that might hint towards Madame Zofstra's prophecies, or whatever you want to call them. Nothing.
Well, perhaps it's a different lion. It just seems a bit coincidental, don't you think?
I don't disagree.
Well,
I have my figurines.
those are two lions.
And it could be figurative lions, which means not actual lions.
Or perhaps he's like Leo the White.
Well, silver
well,
looks
he's Star
white
the
in
Grey.
some lights, and I'm forgetful, so I might lose one.
That's right.
Oh, no, they're golden, aren't they?
What?
Are they silver or golden?
They
Statues
are
are still-
golden.
Golden.
Oh, right? Aren't
Yeah,
they gold lions?
gold lions.
Yeah.
Never mind. Strike it from the record.
I forgot what metal they were made of.
Yeah, me
It's
too.
one of those
I
things
thought
where
they
like
were
the worst
lions,
metal
right?
is like, isn't it like the metal dictates how good the item is, right?
That's for the war one.
I thought it's not the same thing for the statuettes.
For the statuettes,
It's
Yep,
the
they're
animal.
golden. My bad.
oh,
Okay.
Strike it.
so it's they're made of gold.
Yeah.
Golden
Like this
lions.
one.
They're golden like the mustard.
So there's still no white lions. I don't know. It
Mustard
just
is cool
seems.
down.
It
Well, I
seems-
think that we should make haste because poor Leo over here is feeling very poorly. Leo, when we get back to our ship, you can sleep on my bed. It's fluffy and soft and will bring you lots of meat. Does that sound good, Leo? Tap your paw once if you like that idea.
As soon as you say meat, he taps his paws and
Captain Isaacs is not going to be happy about
Making
this.
biscuits on the ground.
And Brodak, I don't think you should be reading in so much to hags speaking.
Well, there's something to this. I think Yabba Baga, regardless of her
Is that what we
intentions,
decided on?
that's what she told me to
You
say.
missed the vote.
Oh,
You did.
all right.
I think that there's something to it. I think that, I mean, if you look,
Of course there's something to it. She spelled it all out for us. It's exactly what she wants.
but I don't know if it's necessarily.
Leo,
Her
I'm gonna
leadiness.
pet you continually while we walk. If it bothers you, just smack me with your tail, okay?
And then I'm just gonna kind of give him like scritchy scratches the entire time that we're
As you
walking.
do.
you do give him a light scritchy scratches, and he seems to pay no mind as he seems to be wandering around. His eyes are surveying the city. He's a little bit perplexed given the situation. Seems to be, from what you can gauge from an animal, seems to be a bit relieved that and satisfied that he was released from his imprisonment.
We're definitely gonna
But-
make our way to Massey.
Yeah.
And
So
keep talking, I suppose.
So you continue to make your way through the Sunsteel Ward as I switch my music, as you eventually leave the Sunsteel Ward and arrive in Little Yulong. As you enter Little Yulong, it definitely seems to be the most populous of the districts that you've visited since you arrived back in Agwe. This had been on the side of the city that was not really neighboring any part of the swamp, and seemed to be the most unaffected. However, some buildings had been destroyed with trees fallen in and the like. A good number of people still remain. Some shops are still open. There's some lights on in the residential districts. As the sun, it's been a long day, and the sun slowly sets behind the horizon, and you smell around dinner time those amazing exotic spices from Yulong, and it's comforting. And it seems like this is the most sense of normalcy that you've experienced since returning from the Shadowfell. And you eventually arrive to the misty morning. You see that the lights are on in the window, that there are a number of shadows darkening several of the tables, where there seem to be people actually enjoying some tea or maybe a meal. As you get the occasional look as you walk through with your lions, but people give it a glance and then continue on their way. They had seen giant hyenas and axe beaks and other creatures, the occasional giant crawfish mount walking through this city. So a lion, maybe not the most common thing, but definitely not completely horrifying. As you eventually you're standing in front of the misty morning. What are you guys doing?
Do we think that there might be room for Leo inside?
I mean, I can stay out here with Leo while you just double check. Maybe let Master Leaf know. Hey, by the way, Leo's her name.
I don't also mind waiting outside. I don't necessarily need to. I just
bring
don't.
them in. You're not gonna mess anything up, are you, Leo?
Looks
A
at
lion
you.
in a tea china shop.
For what we've done for the town, I think he wouldn't mind. Let's all go.
I
I think
agree.
Master Leaf might think he's kind of cool.
I turns to Leo and say, just find a corner and maybe sit down and make yourself comfortable, but without scaring anyone. I don't know if this is
And I will
working.
ask if they have some meat for you to nom on while we have our little meeting, okay, Leo? For yes. Tail for no.
As Leo surveys the party and pause a bit when he hears the word meat again, you see that it's been about an hour now, and the spell dissipates.
I'm going to cast tongues again.
You cast tongues again on the lion, and once again it seems to like. Oh, and then it remembers that it is able to understand any language as you make your way into the tea shop. And as you look around, several of the patrons let out as they see the lion pad in, and you see a tabaxi, large gray fur, large beard, almost poofing out from beneath his apron as he has his back turned to you, and you recognize the silhouette of Master Leaf as the patrons are kind of starting to stand up a little bit as Master Leaf turns to you. His eyes catch all of you, his tabaxi features. There's a bit of joviality there, but there's definitely some weariness, as if the past week or so of constant stress has taken a toll on him. As there's, however, a bit of recognition, as he immediately starts striding towards you with that surprising level of grace for his age and his size. And he says, "You have survived, and you have picked up a new friend."
Yeah, and he can understand you right now. Do you happen to have any raw meat? The fattier and bloodier, the better.
We certainly don't want to put you out.
Of course I have raw meat. You think I get my famous dishes shipped in? I make it myself.
Would you mind if Leo partook in some of your raw meatsies?
We rescued him from the Sunsteel War.
Mm-hmm.
Terrible conditions.
And I cast tongues on him so he could understand us.
Is that right? You can hear me. A long line back. We may be kin. As he leans down and gives him a scratch, and he says, I've known a few lion tabaxi in my day, and all of them had very courageous hearts. Please sit. You are my honored guest. Drink, eat whatever you want. It is on me.
Thank you, Master Lee.
You must tell me your great tale.
We'd be happy to, and we have several questions for you as well, in addition to your summons.
Yeah, but the meat quickly, please. He's hungry.
One moment. And he turns and shuffles off to a large cool pantry area and pulls out a large slab of what looks like boar. As he says, "What? Let us get you a tray so there's less cleanup." As he pulls a large platter out, and he puts it up to the side and places it down, and he raises up a paw to all of his patrons, like, "No, it's fine. These fine people are the ones that we can thank that the swamp stopped rising up against us, and this is their new friend, so treat them with the same hospitality I am treating him with."
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
I have a few more orders to fill, and then I will come join you. Please take a seat of honor.
Take your time.
Scratch Leo's head.
Eat to your heart's content, Leo.
And he goes off, and you have a few menus around you, and you're able to order whatever you'd like. And after several minutes, he walks over to you with a large plate of tea and several cups, and he places it down. And there's a few snacks along this tray as well. And he grabs the chair, and as he pulls it back, it's like, as he eases into it, and he sighs, and he says, "I am too old for this shit."
You and me both.
We received your summons, and Glad to see you again, to be frank.
I'm glad to see you too. Once all of the horrible plant creatures fell to pieces, not from our attacks, I knew it had to have been you.
You would not believe the things that we saw when you were in the Shadowfell, right?
I believe you said that you were heading to the Shadowfell,
We're
yeah.
still echoing.
Oh, let's take a quick break then.
Yeah, why don't we take a quick break?
Let's take a quick break, and then we'll get into the conversation.
Apologies.
Do you remember what fixed it last time?
I did. It just took a lot. Can someone clip it? If anybody has a spare second, can clip the echo.
Clip in the echo. Echo, the echo.
As soon as you fix one thing, I'll
Kelsey, we are about to have our very own lion.
How's everybody doing tonight? Why don't you guys talk to chat while I...
Yeah, stop
I'll
cupping
get
your
coffee.
hands over your ears then. Oh yeah, the echo.
So this is muted. So if the DM mic we thought was the issue, it's not.
It's not.
So we've never had an echo with just these two microphones together.
Yeah, this is new.
Oh, so that's new.
I love new problems.
It's good now.
So much
I know
better
it's
than
good.
the
It's
old
just the
problem.
problem is that it's gonna happen again. So I'm just gonna gently pick this up. Oh, you know what? Let's try this.
Are you done?
No, I'm just gonna mix it down to mono from the interface.
Because I'm mixing it down to mono in OBS currently. So I'm wondering if that will...
Did you fix it? Did you switch it just now already?
I literally just switched it.
You guys can hear us okay?
So hopefully that fixed it.
Can you hear us okay?
Levels look good.
Can you hear
The
us?
gain is about what it should be.
They can hear us, so that's
Okay.
good. Do you want to try turning on the DM's mic and see if it sounds okay?
Yeah, let's actually take a look here. Because if it's a mono to stereo thing, okay, let's try this. Are we echoing now? We just enabled the DM microphone, and I'll cut this all out of post.
Thanks, Lundgar.
Thanks, Lundar.
Thank you.
Okay, well, there we go. Well, maybe that fixed it. Who knows?
Hopefully that fixed it.
No, sir, no.
No promises.
No, I believe it's no, as in there's no echo.
Oh, okay.
I'm
That
going to
makes
roll
me
a
feel
d20,
better.
and this is going to determine whether there's going to be echo.
So,
11.
50-50, but a little better than that.
Yeah.
I need about 350.
I don't know what 11 means.
So we got two channels, so we're at 48,000 hertz.
Do you think
What
we're
is
good?
that?
I think we're good.
I think we're good.
What am I so afraid of?
We good?
I think we're
The
good.
echo wasn't really bothering me. It sets the mood for talking to the lion through magic.
That's good.
LOL.
That's good.
Cheers.
So,
That's fair.
it looks like our levels are pretty good.
Cool.
Pretty good.
Great.
Pretty good.
So we're just gonna leave all three mics on.
Yeah.
And guys, just let us
Let us know
if
if
it
we
echoes
echo.
again.
There's that
Yeah, keep us updated.
We sound like
Maybe-
turbo turds.
Yeah, the
Turbo Turds. That should be our group name.
the button may
Turbo
have worked.
turds.
Cool.
We are now the Turbo Turds.
That's unfortunate.
That or Pussy Posse Vandress.
Misheard.
Also very, very
I
unfortunate.
actually did like whatever we talked about at the beginning, the like McMurder Squad or something like that. Like,
What was I saying?
The Shadowfell.
Oh, you would not believe the things that we saw in the Shadowfell.
I would imagine. I don't think my old heart could take it. What did you see? Tell me.
We'd be happy to tell you the entire story in explicit detail, and we begin to tell the entire story in explicit detail.
You do that.
Yeah,
and-
we'll we
I'm
don't leave out
gonna
any
leave
detail.
out all of the stuff regarding Bobby.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Totally. I just the overarching, the fight with Samedi, Guru, got eaten, yada yada, and that.
we'll tell him all about our like the competitions we did because I think he would find that. Fun.
Yeah, and Alphonse is definitely gone. Guru is definitely gone. Samedi is gone. Those things. The important stuff. The linchpins.
To think that the shadow of death over this swamp is no more, And to think that we were duped by a vampire, by a dragon, and an undead dragon. And it was all thanks to you that we are all here and alive. I am very glad that we were able to hold off the horrible voodoo magics and swamp beasts that were sent for as long as we did. And thank you, we would not have been able to hold out for very many more days longer.
So, can you tell us what happened while we were gone? Were you still being attacked by living trees? That kind of thing.
We were.
I saw all the
Stinging
burning
flies and insects, fog, putrid stench as this swamp encroached. And we were very fortunate here in Little Yulong that we were the least affected, as many families lost all of their possessions. The swamps encroached.
You saying all that about the putrid stench, it makes me realize that what they say is true. That the Shadowfell is connected to the material plane, that you could still smell Rodek, even when we were there.
I
Whatever
believe that
it
checks
was.
out. That's how we got back.
Your stench?
My stench maintained a tether to the material plane. Without me, we never could have gotten back.
You're a true hero.
Thank you,
Oh,
Rodek.
Sylvie. Oh, and you.
Ew, you're sticky.
Oh, you're slimy.
I know. I know.
Things are getting a little weird.
Well, stranger things have happened over the past several days.
Is everyone alright? Was anyone hurt?
Some fell in combat, but nothing compared to the horrors of when the dead rose. It was rough, and but thanks to you, they all just suddenly lost their energy.
Thank you,
for
CG
the
Archer.
follow,
Thank you.
CG Archer.
Chaotic Archer.
I hope you don't mind, but we took a detour through the Sunsteel War before we came here. We had some time to burn, and we discovered that the caravan is just gone.
Cowards, yes. I knew they would. I knew that Ickis was a liar that wouldn't give up the foul practice of slavery.
I can see it in his eyes. He's terrible.
I imagine you and Ma must be able to make use of the land. I mean, it's now vacant.
We have met. Once the swamp rose up and started attacking, that is when they up and fled. And
Okay, I'm turning Mike's mic off. There we go.
oh, thanks for the sub, CG Archer. The follow and the sub.
Thank you. Oh,
That's when the cowards fled. Those that did not go with Ickit, who believed he had better business, off in the Smolder Peaks, just headed back to Neckbet, and some stick around and are drifting.
so
Cowards.
they all went. The ones that went with Ekis, they all went to the northeast.
Oh, but you.
They did. He said he had a job far better than sticking around here, especially with our watchful eyes on him and no guru protecting him.
Now, to be quite frank, we are expecting some precious cargo to arrive within the next week or so. But after that, we are going to have to get moving, and
It's still echoing.
We're not going to be able to stay here. And I know you summoned us, so I guess the point is, if there was something that you needed from us, we'd be happy to do what we can while we're here, but we're not going to be staying for long. We have very pressing, timely matters.
He smiles a little bit and nods at you, and he looks very appreciatively. And he says, "Anything that you can do for me? No, you have done more than enough.
But we would be happy to do more. We mean that.
We will rebuild. This city is my home. Although I came from a distant land, this became my home, and I do not intend to leave, and life won't be the same, at least for the years I have. But it's thanks to you, my dear spirit of the azure skies, that He draws breath, and he will take over the Jade Iris once I am gone. And it's thanks to you that this whole city wasn't swallowed into the swamp, that it wasn't overrun by the dead, that it wasn't devoured by a horrible beast. It is
We're
all
not
thanks to
talking
you.
about you, Leo. It's fine.
It is all thanks to you. And in fact, I wanted to show my appreciation. If you wouldn't mind, just small tokens.
No, we'd be very grateful.
He steps away.
I love poker. I'm so excited.
As he steps away, as he walks over, and you see his rows of jade statues of various animals and creatures. As he reaches up and pulls two off, you don't quite see what they are.
Oh,
and then
boy.
he goes behind the counter, and it seems the two jade statues have been tucked into his robes. As he pulls out a beautifully crafted, long, narrow wooden box with beautiful, intricate designs of lotuses, and that's beautifully painted. As he walks over,
Say beautiful one more time, Mike, and I'm getting a boner.
it is gorgeous.
Damn it!
It is significantly
Pretty.
elegant, pretty. As he walks over and he places it on the table. And you see that there are hinges on it, and he turns it around to you and he opens. You see an intricately crafted brush inside with a finely and carved black and gold and jade handle and a pristine white brush. But at the end seems to be glistening ink, as it has this strange shimmering of magic to it. As he presses it forward to you, he says, "This is an old family heirloom. It's the celestial brush. It is from the heavens themselves."
My goodness, I mean, we can't. This has been in your family for forever. We can't take this.
Surely you save it for your nephew.
No, he will. I have many family heirlooms. This has a special significance for you all. This was from the planes beyond our world, and you ventured into the planes beyond to save my family. It would do me honor if you would use this to keep yourselves alive in the trials to come. It produces its own ink. There is a limited supply, but it can do incredible things. He closes it and snaps it shut and pulls it forward. And then he reaches into his robes on either side, and he pulls out two jade statues. You see they are carved into the shape of creatures that you've seen before. Large jade statues on either side of the Wonders of Shishi entrance. They are creatures that look like a combination of a lion and a dog. As they are, their mouths are pulled back into roars.
I love poodles.
As he places them on the table and says, These are two of my prized statues. They are guardians. Shishi guardians. They live when you summon them to protect those that have called them to their brief animation. If you use them, they will protect you and guard you. He presses them forward.
And they are called Shishi.
They are Shishi guardians, yes. They're incredible. If you've never seen a Shishi in the wild, in the flesh, they are far larger than what these will turn into. But it is magnificent to behold. They are from the heavens themselves.
I can't be more thankful. Thank you. I'm at a loss for words.
Well, It is the least I can do for saving my nephew, saving my home, and saving my life. And you enjoy some magical items here.
Oh, they're printed out.
Yeah, you can.
Should we have Nikki read them?
Do you want me to read them
Yeah,
quickly
let's read
or
them. It's
slow?
fine.
Oh, there are 3 things here.
Well, you need. Yeah.
Jade Guardians. Wondrous items. Very rare. No, I'm not going to do it like that. These jade statuettes of Shishi Guardians, creatures that look like a strange mix between a lion and a dog, are always created in pairs. You can use one figurine or both simultaneously. Each can become a medium-sized animated statue for up to 1 hour. Once a guardian has been used, it can't be used again until 7 days have passed. If you use an action to speak the command word and throw the statue to a point on the ground within 60 feet of you, the figurine becomes a medium-sized animated statue. If the space where the creature would appear is occupied by other creatures or objects, or if there isn't enough space for the creature, the figurine doesn't become a creature.
Oh.
The creature is friendly to you and your companions. It understands your languages and obeys your spoken commands. If you issue no commands, the creature defends itself but takes no other actions. At the end of the duration, the creature reverts to its figurine form. It reverts to a figurine early if it drops to 0 hit points or if you use an action to speak the command word again while touching it. When the creature becomes a figurine again, its property can't be used again until a certain amount of time has passed, as specified in the figurine's description.
Thank you, the Nordic Geek.
Thank you for the
Nordic
sub.
Geek.
Thank you.
Wait, hold on, I have a question.
Flash those hooties.
What does it use?
Yeah, let's get tons of hooters in chat.
Raise your smoke and means if you defends itself, okay, so it doesn't attack.
Well, that's where this comes in.
Oh,
so
okay.
this is the stat block for the Jade Guardian.
Multiple
He has 97 hit points,
Damn.
15 AC, 30 speed.
He's got more hit points than I do.
He's got dark vision,
Alright.
resistant to bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing from non-magical.
Holy shit.
Understands celestial and common but can't speak. Is magic resistance. The Jade Guardian has advantage on saving throws against spells and other magical effects. Protector's initiative. If the Jade Guardian is entering combat against a clear threat to the one that summoned it, it has advantage on its initiative roll.
Damn.
Rushing Slam. If the Jade Guardian moves at least 10 feet straight toward a target and then makes a slam attack against that target, it can make an additional slam attack against a second creature
Holy
within 5
shit.
feet of the first target as a bonus action.
Holy shit.
Actions, it has Bite, plus 7, and it does 3d8 plus 4 piercing, plus 9, or plus 2d4 plus 4 bludgeoning, and the target is grappled.
So the only thing I will ask is that in the original description you mentioned them being summoned in pairs. Do we
you
have to
can
do
summon,
that?
No, you can summon one or you can summon both.
Like
These
my
statues
lions, I can
always
throw
made
one or
pairs.
two.
The statues are
Yeah.
made in
And
pairs.
we
There's
have 2
nothing
of
to
them.
do with the summoning though.
Yes.
Okay.
So it's kind of like the lines, but they're medium, not large, and they have some like fancy special shishi
Yes.
stuff. Okay.
So with that, they're grappled. The target can make a con saving throw, or it's stunned until the end of its next turn. Slam, plus 7 to hit, 3d6 plus 4 bludgeoning, and the target must succeed on a strength throw or be knocked prone and pushed 5 feet.
Nice.
The Jade Guardian can immediately enter the position the target was pushed out of if it chooses to.
Awesome.
Then we got Celestial Brush. Wondrous item, very rare. This magical brush that seemingly generates ink allows you to create 3-dimensional objects by painting them in 2 dimensions.
What?
The paint flows from the brush to form the desired object as you concentrate on its image. The ink within the brush is finite and sufficient to cover 2,000 square feet of a surface, which lets you create inanimate objects or terrain features, such as a door, a pit, flowers, trees, cell rooms, cells, rooms, or weapons that are up to 10,000 cubic feet. It takes 10 minutes to cover 100 square feet. When you complete the painting, the object or terrain feature depicted becomes a real, non-magical object. Thus, painting a door on a wall creates an actual door that can be opened to whatever is beyond. Painting a pit on a floor creates a real pit, and its depth counts against the total area of objects you create. Nothing created by the pigments can have a value greater than 25 gold pieces. If you paint an object of greater value, such as a diamond or a pile of gold, the object looks authentic, but close inspection reveals it to be made from paste, bone, or some other worthless material. If you paint a form of energy, such as fire or lightning, the energy appears but dissipates as soon as you complete the painting, doing no harm to anything.
Wow. I like Zeke's suggestion that we should paint dicks everywhere.
Oh, real dicks!
It's like floppy inanimate dicks.
I love it!
Yeah!
Wow, that is Master Leaf. I don't even know what to say. I mean, this is fantastic, and please, I can't stress enough that we would do it all again. We would be happy to help you anytime, and it may be a long time before we see you again when we leave, but as I've said in the past, that this is only goodbye for now, and if we can ever do anything for you, please let us know.
I will, and you, like I said, you've done enough. You've earned some rest. that is my last parting gift to you. There will always be evils to conquer. There will always be people to save. But you have earned some rest. Do not charge out before you are ready, without appropriately resting your bodies and your minds.
To be fair, the only rest we're taking is waiting for our cargo, but that's the nature of heroes for heroes. We got to do what we have to do, and we know that we know what our next mission is. So we will heed your advice, but only so much.
Well, that is up to you. My nephew's the same way. He's always on the move, always on to the next thing. I'm worried it will catch up with him. But enough of an old man
You
babbling.
never get enough of an old man.
Your nephew seems very capable. I'm sure he'll be fine. Is he still in town, or does he adventure a lot?
He was usually the one that is organizing the shipments from Yulong. He likes to go back home, and I do not blame him. He actually was just well enough to head off on a ship back to Yulong just yesterday.
Well, I wish him safe travels, and when we do leave, just make sure you keep an eye on things. In particular, we met this one fellow. Did we tell him about this guy already?
We haven't. No, please.
And I described
you may
it,
be the
whatever he
first.
looks like.
Echo.
Fuck.
Ah, Vargo Jerums.
Yes.
Oh, you're well acquainted.
I am.
Well, don't do anything hasty. We tried to set him in the right path.
I will make sure that we have eyes on him. Ma and I are having a meeting soon to see how we will divvy up our territories now that the caravan and the grinning sinners are no more in Agwe. I'm hoping they will be amenable negotiations.
He seems like one of many that could be put to good use for honest labor.
Well, I will keep an eye out for Vargo Jerums.
Okay, I found this on the web.
Whoa, Siri.
Many things that could be put to good use for labor. Check it out.
Okay, Siri.
I'm not
Hey,
exactly
Siri.
sure what I said that activated your robot, but I'm extremely uncomfortable in that Tim Cook is probably listening to our D&D session directly.
He's my favorite restaurant owner, Tim McCook.
That's a pretty good lion name.
What? No, Tim McCook, the guy that works at the True
No,
Blue
Tim.
Roux.
Oh, is the True Blue Roux still standing?
Yes, it is. It's still
It is.
operating.
Oh, thank goodness. We're going for dinner, ladies and gentlemen. We have our dinner spot
Before we
set.
get derailed, I just want to say that we've already met one that's going to try and take advantage of the gap that's been left here, and I know you've done so much already for the town, but you'll have to be extra vigilant to make sure that people aren't just putting Agwe back into the state it was before. There's a real chance for bringing it up in the world and making it right and a good place for everyone that lives here.
Well, that is the nature of any power vacuum when there are criminals involved. It will be tough, and we lost many lives in the conflict over the past weeks. But we will do what we can to bring order and semblance of normalcy back to the city, and I will do what I can and pledge the resources that I am able. And we will, without Remy Guru, maybe I will open my own riverboat.
That would be fantastic, as long as you're not feasting on the souls and sorrows of other beings.
That's a great idea.
Oh,
You should.
deal whatever.
I prefer to feast on noodles.
I'll drink to that, I suppose.
I think the city could use a dose of some wholesome fun, but whatever you think works.
Well, we still have our business in the Serpent's Breath, but
Annulin,
that can be wholesome depending on your perspective.
Annulin, when did you become a paladin?
Just saying.
Change your alignment.
You can have some tea. Just forget about the Serpent's Breath.
That's true.
The point is we believe in you, and And again, if there's anything that we can do for you when our paths cross again, we'd be happy to do it.
I will keep that in mind. Thank you, my friends.
And we're just one pocket watch away. Always.
That's true.
You are premium members of the Wonders of Shishi.
So if any of your little jade creatures can come find us at any point, just let us know and we can come right back.
At the risk of ridicule from the group, could we give him a sending stone?
No!
I got this thing!
Just... Have you...
Shit, we have to go get the one back from Ratley at some point. What the fuck did
We
do?
need him!
Anyway.
We don't need him.
Well, so anything else to discuss? Or should we just enjoy the rest of the evening as friends?
Where do your journeys take you next?
Well, to be fair, at some point we need to head back to Gullhaven, which is just a short hop, skip, and a jump, if you will.
I don't know if I mentioned, but Captain Isaac said that Captain Theramore wanted to speak with us.
What? No, you did not mention.
He said it wasn't urgent. I'm sorry.
It wasn't urgent, or was?
Wasn't.
Well, I suppose that makes sense.
I think
that
he said wasn't.
We would debrief her on what's happening.
He said wasn't it?
Is there...
Or wasn't it wasn't?
Master Leaf, please, I apologize, but is there any chance that we maybe just... We head back to Gullhaven and as quickly as possible and round up Orpheus and talk to the Admiral as quickly as possible and get it all done? Because I would just feel much better if we were all here in one place ready to set out as soon as possible.
Well, I think we have over a week. We can take our time.
No, my
I'd
point...
like to spend a little time with Sunny and Scram.
My point is, if it were... I know I don't talk about this very much, but if it were my mother, I would hope that you would all be ready to go as quickly as possible.
I agree, but my point is, we're waiting. We cannot set out.
I know.
Before Rambi and Piccolo and the cart and everything else.
But I'd like to have everything in order as quickly as possible before then. The moment they arrive, we need to be ready to set out.
I agree. That's fine. I think
That's all.
We have, and I totally agree. We have how long was it? Remind me.
You have over a week.
Especially because we're not sure.
Even is west of
It is.
east of.
It is west. It is west.
Oh,
where you guys
of Agua?
Yes, it's northwest.
We're not entirely sure that Orpheus still isn't just making bullshit up.
I agree. And so anyway, that brings up our next course of action after this is to head into the Smolder Peak Mountains. Right on the trail of Icus, no doubt.
Is that so?
So I assume we may see him again.
I would not be surprised if you did. Be very careful on the road. They may try to snap you all up and put you in chains.
Please.
I'd like to see them try.
Agreed.
He will be no match. It'll be the last mistake he makes. I just wish I could have put an end to it right then and there if we weren't so preoccupied with the swamp rising up.
Well, we won't be. I knew what he was the first time I saw him, and I won't let him get past again.
I hope so.
Anyways, is there anything else we can do to help before we leave? In the next week and...
You can enjoy some tea and relax.
I will enjoy some tea.
Thank you, Master Leaf.
Thank you.
So I'm on the ground with Leo, eating raw meat with him.
Okay. You do that?
Occasionally letting him lick my chicken.
Raw
foot.
boar, don't forget.
Raw boar. I made a Constitution saving throw. No, I'm kidding. You're playing with Leo, and you all enjoy some tea and some snacks and the like, and he wishes you goodbye, and you eventually make your way out and head off into town.
If it's not too late for dinner, we're 100% hitting the True Blue Route. And then after that, I don't really care. I just have to get I have to get some True Blue Route.
Soup and a bread bowl.
Sure.
Yeah, so we'll go to the True Blue Route for dinner. And I want to actually look...
Bitch, you got a bread bowl. Country bitch, you got a bread bowl.
Because we'll be in the area, let's look around and see...
Sourdough.
Let's see if...
Bread bowl, don't you know?
We'll see if Madame Zostra's tent is still there.
Oh, no, we won't. Sylvie's not going to go anywhere near that.
Right.
It's like right across the way.
Rhoda can take a peek.
Yeah,
I'll
you
take a
can go by
peek.
yourself.
Yeah, I'll take a peek.
Okay. So, you make your way through the city, and you see, you make your way back to the Magnolia Promenade. Definitely the most roughed up from this. We'll do, what playlist should we do
What is
for
this
this?
music though?
This is
Cinderella.
Is it?
No.
Got him!
Could be. I don't know.
I just said the first thing that came to my
Hey,
head.
Bookaboo.
Yeah.
Could you give me a beer and put some lime juice in it?
Well, that I don't know about.
It's real easy.
So, you make your way back to the Magnolia Promenade. This has been the most affected. A lot of shops are closed up. A lot of restaurants are closed up. However, you may eventually make your way to the True Blue Roux. And it has a modest collection of patrons. But there are some people enjoying a meal. They all seem to be exhausted. Probably from a long day of cleaning up either the wreckage of all the swamp creatures or or rebuilding. And Rodek, you go and you make your way around through the alleys to where you remember Madame Zastra's tent being. And as you make your way down, you see that long, narrow alley towards the back that had that inviting glow and silver-threaded tent. And you see, however, the dead-end alley is now just a dead end. There is no tent. There is no sign. It's almost as if the tent had never been there in the first place.
Are there any markings on the ground that would suggest that something had been there?
Why don't you make an investigation check?
Why don't I?
Well, why don't you?
13.
13, you look around and you're looking for anything. You remember that it had been hammered into pythons on the ground, and that there had been signs affixed and nails drawn into the sides of the buildings next to it. And there doesn't seem to be any trace of this tent.
It was nothing, Rodek. It was a fallacy, all of it.
Well,
She made us think what she wanted us to think, and that's it.
I mean, she helped us. Regardless
Did
of what
she?
her goal was. I mean, she helped us defeat Alphonse. She
helped us to her own goals.
and that's true. That's true. I think, but, and I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying she's right, and I'm not saying we should do anything about it. But my point is that what she told us, we know she can see the future. We know that.
I disagree completely. She told us the future that she wanted to see, and we believed her, and we walked right into it.
Well, perhaps. I just think that she knows. Either she knows or she can see. Whatever it is, I'll never forget it.
Well, to be fair, if I may interject,
Please
while
do.
I wasn't here, there are things that she clearly knew about us that she never could have known. She knew about Piccolo,
Right?
There's no way for her to have known that. So I while you know how I feel about magic and mystic things, I
Out of
have to
character,
agree
what
with
did she know about Piccolo?
she called us her riders,
Oh.
and she referred to a a tall bird at midnight?
A tall black bird.
A tall black bird at midnight, and whatever was the reference to Ramby.
Crimson Ram. And I'll say at this point, you've all been able to get in. The shopkeeper seems a little hesitant about a lion being brought in, but...
Oh shit, we brought Leo?
I would have been there sooner because I wasn't going.
Oh yeah, so you would have...
So Leo and I were already in there eating soup in a bread bowl.
Yeah.
And I'm just feeding him the meat.
Wait,
from
what
my
do you mean
soup.
going with them? Where did we go?
To the alleyway where
Yeah.
Madame Zostra's stuff was. So
Oh.
we wouldn't go there. She would refuse.
Okay.
So basically,
So just laying down
you
the line
lead
for
in
her.
Leo, and there's some eyes, but the gentleman that owned the establishment was very. If you had coin, he's like, you paying, baby? You paying for him?
I pay him extra to be able to get like a plate of like
Oh, bless you, baby. As
like stew meat, but before it's cooked. And so I'm like constantly I'm like taking a bite and tossing Leo meat, taking a bite, tossing Leo meat.
he looks hungry, I'll give him the lion's share. As he
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
and he makes up. There's a very large
And then
beef stew for
I
him.
need extra extra place settings because my friends, when they're done going against my will, they will be punished. We'll be here shortly after.
And of course, more gold. As he brings place settings, everything's set. A large, the lion's share of the beef stew is set down for Leo, and your soup is brought to you, and you're all enjoying a meal as the three of you get over there.
What was the outcome of the tent?
It was almost as if it had never been there.
Gone.
Yeah. Well, it's totally gone, and it's like there's no trace of it.
Okay.
It's not like there was a tent set up and she broke it down. It's
Got
just
it.
like,
Got
doesn't exist.
Yeah, right. It vanished. Okay.
Did we ever ask before anybody else if they had been to this tent or seen this tent?
We only know that Taiki had.
Well, we asked Maud Puckett, and she told us
She had seen
where
it.
it was.
Okay.
Ma Puckett and Guru also mentioned it.
But we have
So we're not,
physical.
like, getting
we had
fully
physical
gaslit.
evidence. No, we had physical evidence of Taiki. I mean, she had cards that were signed. We found them. We found
Yeah.
Taiki's cards, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. So physical evidence that, well, presumably.
That doesn't.
To me, that's
anything to me.
Okay. Well, Vandross and Daniel can go at it later.
I enjoy my soup.
Did I get my
Did you get
ramen?
Rhoda?
Watashi's favorite.
You get
Yeah,
Watashi's favorite. It's
I'm just kidding. I actually
Jumbo.
want a beer cheese soup, like a cheddar
Look,
beer.
soup.
Yeah, but like a beer base.
Yep, there's a beer base. Yep.
Oh, fantastic!
All of the soups that you
Mike,
could
you know
want.
how to just really please me.
Yeah.
It's I'll just do the old standard gumbo.
Not etouffee.
Would they have etouffee here?
Of course.
Yeah, they have that
Okay,
too.
I'll get etouffee instead. I'll get one of each.
This is real D&D, folks. You get
Sylvie, I hope you're not upset with us. We just wanted to make sure whether or not the tent was still there. It wasn't a personal slight.
Leo the lion, he's my best friend. He'll travel with me forever to your very end.
I lean over to
Leo
Rogue and I
the
say,
lion,
we are
he's
fucked.
my best friend.
We are fucked.
Leo the lion, will travel with me until your end.
How is your True Blue Roo special?
My Skedios?
Yes, your special.
That's what you're eating?
Yeah. I put milk in it. It's creamy.
It looks horrific. It looks so
there's a
gross.
little pitcher of milk next to it.
He brought it out thinking it was for Leo, and I poured it in my Skedios.
Jesus.
It's on the kids menu. It's on the kids menu.
College all
Do you have
over
chicken
again.
tendies here?
Yeah, I got some. They're shaped like dinos.
Wow. I don't know what that means, but the shapes are fantastic.
I ripped them up and I put them in my soup, and I skirted ketchup in it too. It's yummy.
I'm gonna stop looking in that
Gross.
direction.
You look in and you see like parts where the ketchup hasn't been mixed in fully.
Okay, I'm gonna die.
Yeah, that's rough. That's rough.
Out of character. I'm gonna vomit.
Yeah.
It's been a while since Rodex vomited in the corner.
Yeah, seriously.
Rip. It's kind of nice that we can just relax for a second.
So I'm assuming you all don't want to return to Gullhaven this evening.
I think we should.
You still do.
I think we should go back to Gullhaven this evening.
What else are we waiting for?
I think
Well,
that
I seemed like I was in a hurry, and I almost as if I had offended Rodek with the speed with which I'd like to presume.
but my point is, I'm not going to. We shouldn't have to rush back here in Ogway and then twiddle our thumbs. Was my point.
Fair. You would like to spend a few days in the mansion.
I think it would do us some good to spend a few days in Gullhaven and just check in with everyone, make sure everything's fine.
Do we need to come back here? I forget.
Yeah. Well, this will be our departure point. It's the fastest way to get to where we need to go to find your mother.
They're like halfway through their journey, bringing Rambi in the cart and Piccolo.
Okay.
down.
Right.
I don't know on the map.
And I also don't think we can teleport a fully grown ram.
And maybe Leo will like me enough so much that he'll let me ride on him all the way to wherever we're going. Right, Leo?
Tongues is already gone
It's
at
a
this
long
point,
way.
so I just throw him meat.
He doesn't know what I'm saying.
Of course. I
if we're ready to go, then after our meal, of course, and we've spoken to Captain Isaacs and let him know where we're headed, is it finally time to maybe let the night's patients go home?
You know, actually, that's a very good point, but I'm not going to speak on it directly, as I realized something. I don't think that you should ride, eggnog and, chicken biscuit, all the way to your mom, because people are going to freak out by the weird double-headed vulture thing.
But they're sweet.
They are, but you don't want them to accidentally get sniped and killed by someone who doesn't know what they are, do you?
And
Or just unrealistically take out all of. Never mind.
Right?
Logistically, how would that work?
Look, just listen to me. Listen, Rodic, listen. Just listen.
Look at it.
Look at Rodic, look at.
Look at
Look at.
listen.
So, I was thinking,
And throw Leo some more meat.
as much as I love him, I think Leo should be yours. Because you have your little lion, so you're like Annulin, Lion Rider. It'd be pretty cool. And then people are going to be less, I mean, they're still going to be freaked out because he's a freaking lion, you know? But they'll be less freaked out than a double-headed vulture thing.
But
And then you keep...
what happened to Sunny and Scream?
Well, Eggnog and Quiche, they're going to stay at our home. They'll be just fine, and they'll grow up and they'll be big. And eventually, they'll become amazing kind of creatures. But your name will precede their weird double-headedness. And people will be like, did you hear of Annulin, Lion Rider? She's also weird vulture with 2 heads rider. And then they won't kill them because they'll know. But right now, you're still small toast. I think that's the terminology.
I love toast.
I think what you're doing is extraordinarily generous, Sylvie, but I can't stress this enough. We're doing what she wants.
What do you mean?
We're enabling the third rider here.
I don't know what you mean.
I lean in close and I
The
say,
Yaga Baba.
yes, she predicted this. She called us her riders.
I feel like I shouldn't be on or around a lion.
We just want
So then you are going to sell Piccolo,
No.
and your strange goat is going to be shipped off somewhere. Because if Angulin can't have a lion, then you don't get a rooster and you don't get a goat.
I'm not
It sounds pretty simple to me.
I'm not saying she can't. I'm making sure it's okay with you.
Of course it's okay with me. Angulin deserves this beautiful Siberian tiger.
And I don't want to be dramatic, but I would die for Piccolo.
Okay.
That is
I-
a little dramatic.
I hope that
Would you
Dobro.
die for eggnog?
I hope
Of
that
course I
I hope that Dobro and of course Piccolo would understand that, but I would die for that bird.
would. Right, and Rodic would die for his abnormally large goat.
He's not a goat!
What?
He's a ram! It's in his fucking name!
I've always found it strange that you would name him that.
Why would that be strange? He's a ram!
It must be a dwarf thing.
Thank you for this,
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
My point is, I think there's something to what she's saying. I don't think we should fight against it. I don't think it's not her, in my opinion. I don't think she's manipulating us.
Look, at the end of the
She's
day...
manipulated us every step of the way.
I don't think so.
Well, I'm gonna say this, okay? Because this is my freaking fate at this point. The 3 of you have written things before. Whether it be Matthias, oh wait, that was me. Or whether it was Ramby, or whether it was Piccolo.
I do miss
That weird
Brigitte.
thing in the bathhouse.
It was also Matthias. Anyway.
What?
We don't talk about the plant people.
Plan people, plan people.
We don't talk about the plant people.
So my
Let the
point
record
is...
show I have no evidence of
My
that.
point is, if you're worried that, Annulin being on a Siberian tiger is going to all of a sudden make her one of Yaga Baba's riders, well, guess what? She's already ridden her 2-headed rooster.
I'm not worried about what we may face. I think that whatever comes up, we'll handle it together as a group, as we always have and always will. I just wanted to be sensitive to whatever may have.
Oh, is that why when I said no, let's not go check on the tent, guys? That's gonna make me feel uncomfortable and second guess everything that I do and think about my future and my past and evaluate my life and do some self-reflection where I really feel like I fucked up and you guys were like, go get some Skedio, Sylvie.
I was taking a leak. I wasn't there for any of that. I am very sensitive
Why is
to
that always
your.
your excuse? Oh, I was taking a leak, Sylvie. Oh, yeah, sorry I shaved all your hair off in the middle of the night, Sylvie. I was taking a leak at the time. Sorry.
I don't ever recall saying that.
That wasn't you. That was Okra.
Well, either way, I feel deeply. Rodek, help me out here.
You know I don't know what to say.
I apologize. Is what I'm trying to get at. Of course.
So we're all agreed. Annulin, rider of the Black Panther.
I think we should ask Leo if he wants to join us.
Okay.
Tongues.
Leo. So here's the thing, Leo.
And I kind of explain the situation.
Would you like to come
No,
with us
listen.
and we'll feed you all the time? Now listen, Leo, listen. Listen, Leo. Listen, Leo. Would you like to come with us? And
Feed him some more meat.
And Annulin will ride upon your back, but we'll always keep you safe, and we'll always give you food, and we'll give you scritchy scrotchies, and we'll make sure that your nails are sharp, and that if you need to hunt, we'll help you hunt. And we will be bestest of friends for always, and you will be known throughout the lands as the most fearsome lion of all time.
Maybe make sure he understands that we often get ourselves into trouble that's dangerous.
And we get into dangerous trouble, but if we ever come across the guys that put you in chains, we'll let you rip their fucking heads off.
Oh.
That, and Leo, if you're my steed, like I said before, when you're ready to go home, I'll help you get there.
One paw out for yes, smack Rodek with your tail, if no.
Maul Rhoda.
And for your campaign is over.
Let's get 2 animal handling checks at advantage from both of you.
14.
14.
Double 14.
So, as
friendly
Leo is scarfing down food, you see his tail whip towards Rodek and stops. And then he puts a paw out and gives you a look that says, like, you got more meat?
I throw more meat at him. Good choice, Leo.
My kind of lion.
And it really is your kind of lion. You can't change his name, though. Well, that's part of the deal.
What if it's a nickname?
Like what? Like Furbulous?
Like,
Okay,
you
well,
call him Leon. Maybe his name's
Leon,
Leonard.
that's a terrible
no,
name
do you
for
remember
lion.
Leon, that
I-
horribly drugged up guy?
I've never been more repulsed by a single name
No.
in my entire life
It's
other
one
than
letter
Leon.
difference.
Yeah, fuck
He's
you.
thinking, Rodek.
Maybe
No.
is it short for Leonard?
No, we're calling him.
No.
His nickname, what is going to be short for Leo, is Furbulous.
Fabulous.
I don't like
Yes.
that either.
Well, unfortunately, this was the deal that I agreed upon for you after granting you the rights to the lion.
How about Leonardo?
No, that's too short for Leo.
Oh, what?
Is it formal? Maybe it's a touch formal.
Oh, Leonardo the Kitty. Perfect. And we'll call him Leo for short.
Well, I'm sold.
Perfect.
Leo's a terrible name. Leo, you say? Okay.
Leo, you say. Say no.
I love it.
Okay, Leonardo the Kitty. Leo for long. We love you. Welcome to the Pussy Posse.
That's
How
working
fitting.
title.
Yeah. It's either that or... What was it? Turd truffles or something?
Can we just
We
pull out the watch?
No.
Who's the pocket watch?
I believe Sylvie has it.
Are we ready
Well,
to
that's
go?
a problem.
No, we have to go back and tell. I think we should keep the Knight's patients here, just so they can help keep an eye on the town.
I just feel
And
it's
we
going
leave.
above and beyond their duties,
Well,
but
they're being paid very well.
Fine.
And
Yeah, and
the admiral.
when we tried to send him back, the admiral was basically like, kind of don't.
Oh,
So-
you're right. You're right.
And I
Kind of
spoke
Fine.
to Captain Isaacs earlier. I don't think he's gonna be
Oh,
surprised
you
if we
did?
up and go.
What did Captain Isaac say?
He was like scrubbing some stuff and doing some things, and
I told him not to do that on the deck.
And we have to talk to Amalia.
Right.
yeah, she wants to talk to us, but it didn't sound super urgent. I don't know. It was kind of weird.
Well-
Normally, when she wants something, she wants it like.
It's fine. We're heading back
You
this
mean
evening.
meow.
We're heading
Meow.
back now.
Right, yeah.
That's what I said. Meow.
Right, meow, as Master Leaf might say. That's. Are we all ready? Do we want to just proceed now? Or we can leave. We
Yeah,
can leave
no,
now.
I think we're good. Leo's got tons of meat.
And I open up my bag and you see that on top of all of my stuff covered in meat is
like
meat.
bloodied meat,
Yeah,
like raw.
bloody
Wow.
meat. I've just been piling it into my
Sylvie,
bag.
you are very forward thinking.
Thanks.
We appreciate you, and I'm sure Leo does as well. Leonardo to Kitty.
I think we should
Leonardo
fill
the kitty.
the captain in and then we should go, right?
He knows we're going.
What are you gonna fill him in with, bricks?
Just. Alright, let's go.
I told him we're going. Let's just go. He'll be back before he even knows that we're going.
Alright.
Oh, where's he going?
Well, you know what I mean.
Okay, I do.
No, we'll be back.
That's what I said.
We'll be back before he knows what's.
We're going somewhere?
Just pull out the watch.
To Gullhaven!
I pull it out, it's covered in blood.
Okay!
Orpheus is not going to be happy when he sees that.
Yeah, no, it was his dad's.
And I guess I use the pocket watch. Or do we have to go
We
to
have
the
to go to the tea
teleportation
shop,
store?
right?
No.
The destination has to be to a teleportation
Yeah. Okay.
circle, but we can use it from anywhere.
Okay, so I was thinking that.
And I click it.
It takes like.
It takes a minute to
Well,
draw.
I'm
Atomized
like
and
slowly
reatomized.
doing it while they
Yeah.
don't realize, and we're like talking, and then all of a sudden it just goes off in sentence.
You get mayonnaise. So Sylvie, you see her.
Mayonnaise.
You see her quietly.
Ew.
Stop projecting on us, Mike. Jesus.
Never mind.
Almost.
Drawing a circle on the ground.
Yes,
with
Leafy
chalk.
says shooting stars places they warp to their destiny.
And immediately a portal opens up, and you know you only have 6 seconds to get in
You
this
see
thing.
Leo swirling through the air.
You only have 6 seconds to get in, and you sprint in, and everyone just lets out a all the patrons see this portal open up, and it's like, thank God you paid in advance, and then the portal swallows all of you up. Shooting stars
Speaking of,
play.
how much did I pay for all of that? We gotta be
For
fair.
the soup?
I say for
Okay,
extra
yeah.
gold and extra 20 gold,
Okay.
a bunch of extra meat.
Gold goes
Yeah.
far.
Yeah, gold. Yeah.
It's
You guys
fucking gold.
are probably like you're in the 1% of the 1%.
The top 1%.
Yeah, of
Yeah,
one.
we have 45,000 gold between all.
That's a
of us.
lot of gold.
But like all that is from the contract,
But-
right?
Yes, but to be fair, like there are magic items that are like 21,000 gold to buy.
Right.
So,
Oh, I
So
know that.
in the scheme of magic items, it's like nothing.
yeah.
Yeah.
But when it comes to like room and board, we're
Let's
good.
go fucking shopping.
Maybe.
And get
You buy
one item.
1.5 items.
Yeah.
if we're in the right place.
So
None, please.
you step out into. Oh my gosh, man! I haven't
Change
brought up this playlist in a while.
music.
Wow.
The very first thing I'm going to do, and you can cut me off if I'm wrong, is when I go to my room, I'm going to mount Venom's spine on the wall.
Okay.
That
The
is
thing
what I'm going to do.
is
On my
make
room- on my
myself
room.
look like Lou and prance around the house in my dress and my bouffant.
Lou is your
My
noble
fancy,
garden.
yeah.
Oh.
My fancy persona.
What? Who was I? I was Antonitis.
Yeah.
You're Lord Antonitis.
Lord Antonitis.
Mademoiselle.
Just Mademoiselle.
Wow. This takes me
We are
back.
going back,
Do you remember my
baby.
name?
You were one of the
were
guards.
Farno.
Farno.
No,
I
you
was
were
Carlisle.
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 Yes, Scodes was
That was
Farno.
Farquad.
We
I
fucking
knew it was
lost.
something.
It's like E.B.
Not
Farnham.
Farnham! Not Farnham! Anything but Farnham! No! Carlisle! What happened to Farnham?
Who?
Oh,
It's
Lord.
almost like a year ago.
So
Shit.
you step in to the chamber in your mansion, the basement of your mansion.
Dreamline.
Into the Dreamline estate.
Shadow Sylvie, thank you.
As you step inside, the only thing in this room is the transmutation circle. As the door is open, ajar just very slightly, as you hear the sound of rummaging and rustling from beyond the door.
We're home. I open the door.
God, it's been
Oh, that's the front door.
forever.
We're in the basement.
Oh, in the basement.
In the basement, yeah. So you're in the basement and you open...
Before we open the door, Orpheus has had free reign at our house, so I'd say just prepare for anything.
I am only not going to kill him because your mother's life lies in the balance, but if... Are we beyond roughing him up a bit?
No, instead, he needed to keep all of his speeders.
Unless he's done something truly terrible.
I'm not going to...
You want to reprise your role as
No, we've come far from that, but I have to knock some sense into him. I'm not beyond doing that.
the Goblin Whisperer?
We don't do that here anymore.
Well, let's keep that in mind.
I understand, but if he gets wise, I might belt him one or two is all I'm gonna say.
Friend to hobos extraordinaire.
Giving us tons of information.
I understand.
He's probably only taken advantage of Gus a moderate
He
amount.
probably thinks that he owns this place.
And Gus probably thinks he owns this place
I've got
too.
40 gold that says we walk in there and Gus is in a dress.
Wow, that's specific.
I'll take that bet.
I don't want any part of this, and I proceed to move forward to leave the transmutation room.
Okay, so you leave the teleportation room, and as the door opens, you see
Gus canning.
the large room that had been the armory that had been fashioned to a makeshift prison is now there's no Orpheus that you see. It seems to now be filled with bits of furniture, boxes, crates, all shoved around, pieces of artwork, hanging on various bits of shelves and the like. It seems like this very erratic storage room. You hear the shuffling and rattling as a hunched figure is standing over and arranging some things on this long table that's been pushed off to the side of the room. And as soon as you enter the room, the figure stands up, and you see this crazy gray and white hair all around, and it turns around, and you recognize you recognize your head of the household, your butler, Gus Langtry. Hi, everybody. Hey, it turns out you're not dead.
Gus?
That's good to hear.
Gus?
And to see with my very own eyes.
Gus?
Hey!
What is all of this shit in this room?
Master Orpheus said he was
What?
Gus, do you remember when I specifically told you to never refer to him as Master Orpheus ever again?
Shucks, when did you say that?
When I first called you, after when I let you know to let Orpheus out, I told you to never refer to him as Master Orpheus again and to refer to him only as Orpheus.
Oh, Orifice! Hey, you know the funny thing about Orifice? That was my mother's nickname in her younger years.
Yes, you told me that at the time.
Oh, did I?
Yeah.
I unfortunately don't have the best memory.
Gus, how do you want to, how would you like sleeping on the street and having no job?
Oh, I would like that very much. It'll remind me of my 30s.
Okay, so with that, I'm gonna need you to put all of this shit exactly where it was before Orpheus told you to put it in here. I need you to write our home to exactly the way it was before we left, and I need you to get it done before I wake up in the morning tomorrow. You'll be out on your ass. Do you understand me?
Make an intimidation check.
Looks pretty good from here.
28.
28.
Oh, shit!
Get your shit done, Gus.
He looks at you and just kind of stares for a bit. Hey, I guess I don't have a choice.
No.
I'll have to move back in with my ex-wife, and that's a fate worse than death.
Oh no.
Is Orpheus on the property?
Yeah, I think so. I think he's in one of the many studies.
I begin to walk away from Gus up the basement steps, and I literally yell, Orpheus!
as Gus said, "Well, we're welcome home."
And I want to go up to Gus and I say, "You don't just can you just like fix up down here and it's fine. It doesn't have to be done in the morning."
No, it does need to be done by the morning. And Gus, I'd like to draw your attention to Leonardo da Kitty here.
Oh, hey!
That's
a wild animal.
You fucked this up, Gus, and you're his breakfast.
Well, I guess being a lion's breakfast is a better way to go than a lot of horrible things I've seen on the black market. Back when I used to run
Shit.
when I used to run stolen goods.
I'm so glad I'm not there right now.
Was that also in your 30s?
We should really talk. You know,
actually,
I feel like we haven't gotten a lot of time.
It was
to
in
get
a
to know
spurs.
you.
I guess, how about I do you one better? You don't make everything the way that I want it, the way that I instructed you to keep it the last we talked, or I hire your wife as your boss. Your ex-wife will now be your boss.
His eyes go wide.
Well, I'll whip everyone into shape right away. I'll be the cruelest taskmaster you ever did see.
And Gus, if you ever take another order from Orpheus again, your ex-wife will be sharing your bedroom.
Oh, that sounds like the opposite of what I would like to happen.
Yeah, Gus. Yeah.
Well, I'll do exactly what you said then. Wait, do orders also include polite requests?
Yes, Gus, they do.
Oh, so if he says, "Hey Gus, do this for me," I'll say, "Hey, fuck you and your stupid horns." I mean, I'm not racist. I don't hate tieflings, but he does.
You can filter in, "Hey, suck it," or other similar responses.
Hey, so is this better? Hey, suck it, you stupid.
So the
You
Nordic,
big dumb idiot! I won't do it.
the Nordic
That's fine,
geek
too.
just said, "I don't know how anyone can get through the RP without spot on Harry imitation."
We can't. That's the bottom line.
Just can we just have everyone be nice?
Yes, and I was very nice to Gus when I let him know that if he ever referred to Orpheus as his master again, when I set very strict limitations on him that we are the masters of this place, and that Orpheus does not tell him what to do and he does not mess with the decor, I expected Gus, who runs this household, to abide by our rules. So if he does not listen, we'll be saying hello to Mrs. Gus Langtree.
Well, it's more like an ex-Mrs. She can't legally say Mrs., can she? Well, I guess that's not important. I'm gonna go rouse everyone immediately.
Normally, I think this is a little elitist, but I mean, we did specifically say not to let him,
Yes, no, we did.
We did. So now, who knows what kind of an Orpheus we're gonna walk up to?
Well-
He's gonna be sitting pretty.
I guarantee he's turned every single one of our rooms into a study.
I'm gonna fucking.
He did say there's a lot of studies.
Yes, he did.
Just an inordinate amount of studies.
I would
I'm
just.
going to cut his fingers off.
I wouldn't
Oh,
take
that's
these threats lightly, Gus. So I would encourage you to move along.
Well, shucks, I wouldn't take any threat that's that potent from something that's only 3 feet tall, lightly at all. My former master was also a gnome, and I learned very well the depths of his depravity and cruelty.
Oh boy.
It was.
It must be something that's born into us then, because I'm thinking of a lot of depraved things to do to you right now. So I'm gonna head on upstairs, Gus. Get it done.
You still hear in the distance Vander shout, "Orpheus!"
You do that, and Gus, you all leave, and Gus begins to start shouting for people to come set things right. And as you're all shouting, you're shouting for Orpheus. You're walking through the halls, and
Yeah, I'm going to my room first while I'm looking for him.
you go to your room, and you arrive at your room. You're shouting. You don't get an answer at the very least. You're beelining straight for the staircase up towards where your bedrooms are, and this floor seems totally untouched. You open your door, and it's exactly how you left it.
Well, I won't say that I'm expected this, but I'm not quite as angry as I was, and I take Venom's Spine out, and for now I just put it on maybe a dresser top, displaying it, and then I immediately continue to go look for Orpheus and shouting his name.
You're shouting as you're shouting his name. Eventually, you hear you hear the soft sound of a violin playing. As you then turn down to, you remember where one of the studies was on the main floor, and the music gets louder and louder as you turn the corner. You see the warm glow of fire from the room, and you turn around, and as you're shouting Orpheus, you hear the voice call out from the room. It's like, well, I suppose the jig is up, and as you turn around the corner, you see two figures sitting over a set of dragon chess, as Orpheus and Evangeline are sitting opposite of each other, staring at a board, and as I was like, hold on, Vanny Poo. What move do you think I should make here? He points at the board as
He's addressing me.
Yeah.
And I'm visibly frustrated, and I say, well, if it isn't my little turtle, and I don't know Evangeline, right? I've only met her once or twice, right?
Yeah.
And well, I have to say, Orpheus, I'm surprised. You showed a little bit of restraint, at least when it came to the entire mansion. I half expected my room to be repurposed as some horrible experimental chamber. Have you been enjoying yourself here?
Well, if I decided to experiment and try to get involved with Slotty again, I think I'd get teared apart instantly. And that sounds far, 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 far better than being torn apart by Sylvie, so I didn't fuck with your shit. I decided to reorganize and redecorate. I thought that some old gnome wizard used to own this place. It was so drab. It wasn't you. Certainly wasn't me.
So you've managed to stay out of trouble.
Evangeline, haven't I stayed out of trouble? And you see this gnomish girl with a bright, bushy red hair. I don't know if you actually met Evangeline.
We saw her at the. We were in an alley at one point, right?
You did meet.
We got back into an
alley.
Yeah. We all saw her in the keep
with Mop Pocket.
Yeah, with Mop Pocket. That's right.
Even Dimension Door.
That's right. So no, you guys know her, and she.
But
said,
we've never had a conversation. I would say.
Yeah, we had a conversation with Mop Pocket and Evangeline.
Yeah, she was there, and it was not like any. It wasn't one-on-one. She's like, he's an okay guy.
So if I talk to Seamus, he's also going to say that you stayed out of trouble.
You can go ask Grandpa. I think he's asleep. But in the morning, you can ask him.
I fully intend to, and I would appreciate if you'd show our elders a little bit of respect.
At this point, you guys would have heard the voices shouting from the study, and you would all eventually arrive there. And he says, I even gave him a hand to rebuild that sea shanty place he has. I have calluses on my fingers. He holds up his purple fingers, and you can see there really isn't many calluses.
You helped him rebuild the inn.
Well, I did. I picked up a hammer. I swung it a few times. It was awful.
Well, I have to say I'm a little impressed. Provided that Seamus corroborates your story, then yeah, I'm a little impressed.
Well, you can feel free to ask Grandpa in the morning, unless you want to wake him.
He needs his rest. It'll be fine until morning.
And he nods at you, and the rest of you arrive. I imagine, unless.
So before we go upstairs, I want to. Gus, can you just you have a second?
Sure. I don't really have a choice to say no, do I?
Well, I'm just trying to be polite. I know you have to answer me, but did that custom cart that I had built? Did they pick it up and send it with Rambi and Piccolo?
Yeah, they did. They took the axe beak of the ram and the fancy cart that you had commissioned.
All right. Well, thank you.
We still have the vulture monster. He's fine.
Is he staying here?
Yeah, that was the instructions. You didn't say it for him, or is it them? Or is it her and her, or him and him? I don't know how strange vulture monsters work.
I'm sure you can ask Anulin at some point.
I'm sure philosophers have been asking themselves that question for centuries.
Well, you can get back to your work. Thank you so much. And I'm gonna go upstairs.
Sure. He goes back to work. What are you guys doing?
I'm gonna go out to the stable and Sunny and Scream.
Okay, you totally make a beeline straight to the courtyard area where the stable was, and you see Sunny and Scramble. The chick now is considerably bigger than the last time you saw them, and about your size now. And you see that the kind of soft downy plumage is starting to be replaced by coarser, larger feathers as they both let out a chirp as soon as you show up. And they both immediately hobble over to you.
What's the chirp sound like?
Yeah,
No.
Mike.
That's it.
Too good for us, Mike.
There you go. Dance monkey dance. As they hobble over to you and they nuzzle.
I'm gonna just let him out of the stable into like the grassy yard of the mansion and just kind of.
You can
enjoy
see
the
that their wings
outside.
are coming in a little bit. They're kind of getting a little bit of ground with each flap, but
I want to
not
spend a
not
little
much
time
at all.
seeing how they're doing with learning to fly and doing whatever.
You do that, Sylvie.
I would probably go to where I thought Orpheus was.
Okay. So you hear voices emanating, and you see this scene.
Commotion.
This commotion.
Orpheus?
Oh, Sylvie, it's your sister. Thank you.
Why did you redecorate our home when I told you not to?
Did you tell me not to mess with you?
I told you not to mess with our home, Orpheus.
Well, I thought that you would like it. It was so drab.
Did you ask before you did it?
Well, I thought that you were so busy, horribly dying. I tried to reach you when you were in the Shadowfell, and it didn't work.
And did you maybe think that when we reached out to you after the Shadowfell, that you should tell us you redecorated our home, Orpheus?
Evangeline just looks back, and she's like, and the purple tiefling is perfectly dressed in evening wear. He seems to have at least bought himself a few more outfits as he looks at you and says, I wanted it to be a surprise.
Insight check.
Right?
Orpheus? That's awesome then! I love surprises! Oh no!
Me too!
I've gotta let Gus know not to fix everything then! I didn't know it was a surprise!
And I'm gonna run over and give him a hug.
Oh, yes! It was a surprise. It was a surprise.
That's so cool!
I look at him like I'm suspicious, but I believe everything that he's saying because I rolled so poorly.
So cool!
I'm gonna filter my way back in.
And yes, you're checking that out, and
then I'm gonna send Lumi to tell Gus not to change anything. And his ex-wife is still on the table if he pisses me off.
you do that, and
Mrs. Lang.
as you're hugging him, Evangeline scoots back the chair, and she looks at Orpheus and says, I guess we'll finish our game later.
Where do you think you're going?
Well, I'm gonna give you a hug myself.
Oh, why?
Because you're back and you're alive.
Yeah, I know, but why do you have to hug me?
Because we're kin, and that's a sign of affection. I'm trying to get better at this sister stuff. I know it was terrible.
Yeah, no, you were. That's why I don't know
know.
why you would hug me.
And you with a you feel her tumble into you as Orpheus reaches forward and just pushes her, and you embrace, and it's very awkward as both of you hug. Well, Orpheus told me that y'all saved Agua.
Yeah.
Peru's dead.
Yeah, he
Alphonse is dead.
Ma Puckett misses you so much. I tried to tell her that you was living, and she wasn't listening to me, because, well, you know.
She
how
don't
is.
listen very well,
No,
does she?
but she would love it if she could see you again. So, you know, if you ever want to make a trip back there just to say hi, obviously you could stay here as long as you want, but, you know, if you ever want to go back, you're welcome to. You haven't told the family about this place, have you? You promised.
No, I keep my promise. No,
Please don't ever,
no,
because you know.
they'll come up here immediately and just ruin the place. Just
No.
something awful.
Yeah.
No, I understand things are complex with the way that we left things in Agua with you and your sister, but I mean, do you intend to just return, and Ma will be okay with that?
Well, I don't know.
I know what was done was for her protection. I just...
I was fixing to head back if I'm allowed to leave.
Yeah, of course. Now that the threat's been quelled, or is it quailed? Yeah, I think it's quailed. Quail is a bird. Now that the threat's been quailed, I think that, God damn it.
Sorry.
Now that the threat's been quailed, I think that it's a great idea if you want to head back. But, you're always welcome here should you need a place to rest.
Well,
as long as you don't tell Pa.
I ain't never
Or
gonna tell.
Ma. Or Okra. Or any of the lot.
I ain't no. It and I ain't no rush to get back. So I never thought I'd be suited for fancy life, but it grows on you. Like, yes, it does. It does. It's the life. Haven't I showed you Evangeline? What? It's been pretty nice. And
Yes, it has.
and she releases you from the hug, and she says,
Oh, finally.
I'm glad y'all are alive and Ma's alive and Agua ain't full destroyed yet.
It's not completely gone, but it needs help. And
A lot of help.
Master Leaf and Ma are doing what they can to restore it to its former glory.
Well, y'all done more than I ever could, even with my bandolier. She looks off sadly, remembering the magical item that Alphonse had stripped from her, as she starts to walk towards the door. Like, well, I'm gonna call it an early night and head to bed.
Okay. Toodles.
Okay.
I would have joined at some point during this.
Oh yeah, you would have joined at some point. Night.
Good night.
Okay, bye.
And she makes her way off, and
Family's tough. That was
You did
so
very
well.
weird.
You did very well.
Thanks.
And I think
God.
she was glad to
Do
see
you
you.
have family, Rodak?
I do.
Do you ever, when they hug you, do you ever just want to bite them?
No, but, I don't think that's a totally unnatural response. Some
you
people have
have a-
issues with their
yeah.
family.
You mean bite them like in a good way or a bad way?
What do you mean by a good way? Have you been hanging out with Matthias?
I'm confused by that question.
Then I don't think you have been, so that's good. God.
You
Being
know,
a
sometimes you
newlywed
just
is really
love
hard.
something and you just want to bite it.
Oh,
Is that how that works?
Yeah.
Must be
I
a wood
know.
elf thing.
I'm a newlywed. Oh yeah, by the way, I got married, Orpheus and the god.
Oh yeah.
Do you remember the gentleman who threatened to turn your ribcage
Who?
inside out?
oh, the gentleman that sounded like he came from a lower class area.
Who would still turn your ribcage inside out 6 ways to Sunday?
I do remember
Yeah,
his
he-
spooky voice.
He, is it drive? Is it sail? Is it controls? He is on a boat.
He's a captain.
He's the captain of a boat on the river Styx, but don't let the name fool you. It's made of blood, and he's vicious and mean.
He's a literal devil.
Yeah.
You got married to a devil.
Yeah, and he had tentacles on his face.
It probably has some horrible complications that we'll deal with in the future,
It was
but for now
really
it
cool.
was a joyous occasion.
It's kind of a chap.
And I think they're still married.
Yeah,
I
we
believe.
are.
I think it was until one of them dies.
As long as one of them doesn't die.
Well, we didn't really get into the specifics on his side, but
Yeah, because he's
Yeah.
kind of dead already,
But
so...
we have one of those agreements that, as long as we don't talk about it, it's fine, so...
Oh, I know.
I'm pretty sure he's banging some hot succubi somewhere. Good on you, Matthias.
Well,
Yikes.
congratulations.
Thanks.
Trials and tribulations bring us together.
And just so you know, remember your promise you made. I hope you're ready to ship out soon.
Soon.
I have a question.
I hope we have an answer.
Okay, cool.
Would you like to play
What's the
chess?
question? Oh no, I just wanted to tell everyone I had one.
You had one what?
A question.
Would you like to present it?
How?
You ask him.
Out loud. To the
No,
group.
I just wanted to let him know I had one.
Oh, well.
No.
Oh yeah, can I ask you a question?
You may.
Okay, cool. I just want to make sure. I had your permission.
I'll allow it.
Cool.
Be
Anyways,
fair.
just I want you to remember what you promised, that you would lead us to a tunnel or a passage to hopefully save Annulin's mother.
This will not be easy, and we understand that you don't have any more power of your own.
Oh yeah, and do you know who Baba Yaga is?
Who?
Cool.
And we do know that Annulin's mother's still alive.
Are you going to be able to
Well,
keep?
that's good.
Are you going to be able to
Congratulations.
keep up if you don't have any special abilities of your own? If you're just a normal, plain, relatively boring and uninteresting tiefling.
Easy now.
Well, that's up to you, Vanny Poo, and the rest of you. How well can you keep me alive?
Well, that really depends on how worthwhile you are. The more valuable you are, the harder we'll try.
I just want to reiterate that we entered the Shadowfell. We watched a ancient black dragon lich consume a Deathloa. We killed it. I slept with his wife, and we returned here. And you're gonna tell me that you don't think that we can protect you?
I can confirm. I watched it all. Literally it all.
Graphic stuff.
Dear Penthouse Forums. And
Incredible.
he raises a hand for a high five.
I, out of character,
My man!
very reluctantly high five Orpheus.
Also,
My
out of
man!
character, how long was it since Sylvie scried on my mom?
Oh shit, it's been a while.
A week?
Yeah.
Like a
No.
week, over a week.
Over a week.
No,
Okay.
when did that happen?
After we
a
killed
while.
Alphonse.
No, it was before.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Oh,
saying.
It was before.
This was
It was
week.
before
This is
Alphonse.
Oh, so it's
This
probably
is
like
a while.
two, at least 2 weeks. Yeah.
At least. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm saying I can't remember exactly when, but it's been a while.
Yeah,
Like, even
it's been
in
a long
game, it's
time.
been a long time.
But, well, as of a few weeks ago, she was alive. And I believe she still is alive, of course.
Yeah, no, me too. My mom wouldn't die like that.
Well, that's good news, and I am very useful. Before I got my powers, I was very useful and conniving with the rest of them. I killed a few people. I just can't do this, or this, or this, or this. You don't even know what I'm imagining doing to you with those snaps.
So I just...
They're good things, though, right?
They're wonderful things.
You're a liar.
I am. Thank
I
you for
know.
noticing.
You're welcome!
Thank you!
So anyway, I'm just telling you, prepare yourself. Because we're heading out, within the week.
It's going to be a rough journey.
Oh, well, it is going to be a rough journey. I mean, will there be decent accommodations?
No,
Probably not.
we'll be sleeping in the
Oh,
dirt
Jinx,
on rocks.
you owe me a health potion!
At best,
Yeah,
we'll
no,
be maybe
boyfriend.
under a tree.
Gimme.
Oh.
Hello, give me the health potion.
Well, I don't have a choice, do I?
No, you don't. You're holding up your end of the bargain. We spared your life
Shit, girl.
in trade for Annulin's mother's
I
life.
slipped
You
it
did,
back
and
into
I
your bag.
I'm a liar, but I'm a tiefling of my word. That checks out.
I suppose we'll find out.
I was hoping, though, if we have time to prepare, I was going to grab a few more books from the library and do some more research.
We have time, as Rodek has said.
We do.
Yeah.
I mean, give me prep time. I'm the best.
Hold on. What are you preparing for?
I'm preparing for whatever the hell we may encounter.
No magical powers.
You think I'm going to read a few books and
I
become
don't know
magic?
how it works.
I told you wizards are nerds. Even if I wanted to, I would never do that.
literally going to say that's exactly how wizards work, so...
Can I roll an insight check to see if he's trying to become a wizard?
Yeah.
Oh, probably.
Insight. I don't know anything. I got a 12.
A 12. He seems to be telling the truth.
He's just doing research.
Yes.
Okay.
That is the vibe you're getting from him.
Well, we'll see about that, Orpheus.
How have things been?
Do you
in
like
town?
my new squinty face?
Let's see.
Orpheus.
You could little more turn with the upper lip.
Orpheus. Oh, upper lip?
That's the little...
Upper lip.
Orpheus.
More of a snarl.
We'll workshop it. It's fine. It's fine.
But it's good though,
It's
right?
good. No,
Work in
I'm
progress?
intimidated. I'm sure you were very easily intimidating Gus.
Yes.
How about this? And I'm going to use Major Illusion to make myself look like Baba Yaga and tower over him horrifically.
Make an intimidation check of advantage.
At advantage?
Yeah.
We all loose our bowels a little.
21.
You said intimidation? Yeah, 21.
Holy God Almighty!
What the hell is that?
I go back down to Sylvie.
That was the reaction I was hoping for.
Is that going to be happening on our journey? This is going to be long. We're heading to...
You get used to it. You get used to it.
Count on it, I suppose.
This is going to be months of travel.
All things considered, things might not be so bad now that I can do stuff like that. I never would have thought of that before. I would have just been beautiful. Now I can be horrific.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Silver linings.
What?
Silver
In your
linings.
jacket?
Sometimes when I'm doing better off than others.
Okay. I don't really know what that has to do with the conversation, but thanks for sharing, Vandras.
As
Weird
always.
flex.
Of course. But okay.
God damn it.
Out of character, would I know of any transportation circles in my home area or thereabouts? Or would I have
I
any
would
access
say
to
for
that?
in the general area where you were from, like that level of high magic was not used.
Not
You could probably assume that there'd be something in Maka, which is the Wood Elf city, but you're not sure. You had
I
never
wouldn't
been
have
there.
like the
Yeah.
knowledge to like use it.
Well,
Yes.
we have to also bind it to the watch.
Yes.
That's my confirmation noise, by the way.
Got it. I knew what that meant.
Okay.
Oh, Leo.
And I'm going to feed him some meat.
Leo's there. Oh, well, great.
Yeah, it's a lion. It's Ambulance. She's a lion rider.
She is.
Yes.
I guess
They call her the Queen of the Golden Lions.
Oh, good, because you have a mount to ride.
What?
You have a mount to ride on the journey ahead.
Yes, of course.
Well, we have a
guess.
we have a cart
And
as
then
well.
you're gonna ride on the broom with me.
But you have to ride bitch.
You can also ride in the
Yeah.
cart. We have an entire
See?
brand new
I-
This
have-
word right here, bitch.
I did actually write the word bitch a while ago.
What are the fucking chances? You just got Ouija board schooled fucking Orpheus there. Just got Ouija'd.
A while
you to
ago.
follow the
Thank you, the
Mexican
Mexican
gent.
gent. Thank you so much. Yeah,
Wait,
no, a
so-
while ago.
Oh, there's
It's
a
in
cart.
Birch for a while, and
We
then
have
I
a cart,
realized
we
there's
have
probably
we have
a
Ranby.
cheese.
We have Piccolo the Axebeak, and now we have Leo the Lion, and we have a broom. We have many modes of transportation. You'll probably be most comfortable in the cart.
Oh, God.
So if I had arranged something,
Blew my mind.
Wait,
What?
arranged
What did you
what?
arrange? What did you do? What did you do? What did you do? What did you do?
I
What
didn't
did you
get
do? What did you do?
I'm
What
glad
did
you have a
do?
mount, Angelin, because I didn't get you anything.
Oh no.
But
What do you
But
mean?
I just thought I would share my appreciation for allowing me to live the life of luxury,
This should
despite
be
being a
good.
prisoner.
Fantastic.
Well, you haven't been a
I don't know
prisoner
that we
for quite a
allowed
long
that.
time, but
I have a surprise.
oh no.
So
What
you
is-
love
oh yay! I
surprises.
love surprises. No, I do. Did you? Oh, you weren't here. Orpheus, I told Gus not to move anything. It was a surprise for me. The fact that he completely ruined everything that I had done when I decorated this place.
Oh,
What is it?
congratulations. Thank you, Orpheus.
Yeah.
Don't thank him. We don't know what it is.
Well, thank you.
Well, it's in the garden.
Oh.
oh
do you like the
dear
garden?
gods!
Okay, you're gonna come with us.
No, I'm going to lead the way.
Of
Okay,
course
perfect.
you are.
Yes,
Start walking.
Let's go.
I'm kind of excited.
Yeah, me
He
too.
leads the way, and you make your way outdoor. It's a chilly night. It's into winter now.
If this is anything like we saw in that god's damn volcano there, I swear to gods, Orpheus.
It's
Like what?
it's a chilly night as the strong chilly breeze on the cliffs.
Jesus.
as you make your way outside, you walk through the winding gardens. Like, well, Sylvie, for being the nicest one to me, and I've heard you talking about this, and everyone seemed to be making promises, and not following through with them.
Oh my god!
He's like, and you hear a soft clopping as.
My God! A pony!
And out from around the corner, a beautiful pony, a miniature pony trots.
Little Sebastian.
This beautiful, like this dark, gray pony trots out, and he's adorable. He's just the size for Sylvie. As he trots forward, it's like, this is your pony.
Orpheus, I love it so much!
She's like gonna run over there and give him a huge hug.
Rodek, does this nullify the Fey Pact?
Thank you so much.
Orpheus,
I think it was already nullified, but just never
you
mention
are
it again
my
ever.
best friend
Damn.
ever.
Oh, you're my best friend too, Sylvie. So when I commissioned when I got your pony, then you
All the glass in the mansion shatters.
since we're best friends, it's fine if I also got something for myself.
Of course.
A grin appears on his face, and then you hear clopping, and the slow
Whole
clopping
banner's back.
as a beautiful white stallion
Oh god.
steps out.
He's perfect for you.
I thought, I know, right? It fits my style perfectly.
Ostentatious.
How did you afford that, Orpheus?
I worked on the sickly seagull, whatever the.
Bullshit! You showed me your hands. You had almost. There's no way that Seamus would pay you to pay for that horse.
Well, when I told Gus that the lady of the house wanted horses, I just put it in order and he made it happen.
So we paid for your horse?
Maybe.
Awesome!
Awesome!
Yay!
Now
Wonderful,
listen.
wonderful.
I won't have to worry about him in the cart. We can keep our equipment there, our gear. And then, I can be a little bumpy and it won't affect his sensibilities too much.
You know, you can tell that we're the bestest of friends because you know that I knew that you would get a horse that I would approve of, and you did it preemptively.
I want you all to remember this moment when the royal family of Anzu comes after me for not fulfilling this, when they know that I have a literal criminal
They're a
in
bunch
my
of
grasp.
chumps.
They'll never know.
They're a bunch of chumps.
They'll never find out. Right, Orpheus? No one will ever find out
Just
if you want to live.
remember this moment, that's all I'm saying.
I will.
Vandress,
Yes, Sylvie.
I know that I claim I want your arm all the time,
Yes.
and I do,
Great.
but I will never let them get you. If it means that I have to put my life on the line for you, I will, because that's what real family did.
All our
Does.
Families do.
You
family does.
Family stinks. Families stink. No, that's a completely different story. Anyway, you are my family.
Thank you. You have done so many times already, and I appreciate it.
Yeah, but most of those times were because you threw me into those situations without my willingness to do so, and I had to fight myself. I had to fight my way out of the throes of danger, so as not to die myself, but also coincidentally saving your life in the process. But I'm saying this time I would do it for you willingly.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right.
That's what family does.
And we're not family.
That's beautiful.
Oh, do you want to get matching riding outfits?
Are you paying?
Yeah!
Yes!
Oh, I'm so excited!
How do you plan to defend yourself? I mean, obviously we're not going to let harm befall you, but do you have any way to protect yourself?
Well, I have a knife.
I think
he's as good as dead, Rodek.
That's what you're big, strong adventurer.
You said it yourself. The things we've done, no one's going to touch them. You just stay nearby. You stay behind us at all times.
Fine.
when we're camping out on the road, you stay right in the middle, and we'll keep watch.
Use you all as a human shield, if I have to.
Yeah, I mean, if you
Humanoid shield?
die, chances are we're not going to save Annulin's mother.
Yeah.
Well,
And if you die, who's gonna make the decision for me that I get a pony and that you get a giant stallion?
Oh, it's beautiful, isn't he? He strokes the hair of the stallion as he reaches into his pocket and pulls out an apple and feeds it to it. It's beautiful.
I hate that I love
It is
Orpheus.
beautiful.
I love Morpheus so
I hate
much.
that I've always loved Orpheus!
Save that for the fanfiction, Fanny Poo. That doesn't happen. As he is stroking the mane of the horse and feeding it apples. As he said, well, I'll have this, so we'll send him to the stables. I wanted to wait until you were back.
And, you know, I just had... It's almost like a terrible storm overtook my mind, a hurricane of sorts. But I realized what I wanted to name my pony. That mayor that died in Agway, his name, Treadmill. I don't want it to be so apropos that I would name it Treadmill, so I was thinking I would name him Wendell.
why Wendell?
Because it rhymes with treadmill.
That's a beautiful name for a pony.
Thank you.
The pony's name will just be Wendell.
Yes, I know. And I know that Bindle would really appreciate that.
Are you sure that's what you want to name it?
Yeah. I mean, how else are we going to keep Lentil's memory alive?
Names have a way of sticking. I just want you to be, clear here.
Yeah.
There's almost certainly no going back once you make this decision.
Wendell, that's the name of the pony.
All right.
Well, we can only hope that the
I
poor
can
mayor
call him
may
Wendy?
rest in peace.
Is it a boy pony or a
It's
girl
a boy pony. Look at his dick.
Oh my!
She points at his dick. At Sylvie's angle, she's able to see that it's a boy pony.
Oh my! I'm sure
Why
it is
did I think of that?
extraordinarily appreciative of the name Wendell, which is certainly a name that you almost certainly come up with off the cuff.
Yeah, I've never heard of it before, but I was thinking to myself, his name was Dindle, and so what rhymes with Dindle?
Treadmill.
And then I was like, no, treadmill doesn't rhyme with Dindle.
Lentil.
No, neither does Lentil.
Derek.
Huh?
Sorry, continue.
Do you know someone named Derek?
I don't.
Oh, cool. Anyway, weird flags. Anyway, so I was thinking that I would name him Wendell. Because it is not so apropos as to be the mayor's name. You know, it's not too on the nose.
Correct.
But, it's
Sort of.
just close enough.
I think it's lovely.
A lovely vague reference. That's definitely not his name.
Yeah. And that's
not
what I
even
wanted.
close.
A vague reference to keep his memory alive.
And this is Lord Frederick.
Lord Frederick.
Yes.
That's a great name.
Why?
Thank you.
Welcome.
Because he looks exactly like a Lord Frederick.
He really does.
I know. Thank you.
Or someone named Lord Frederick could ride him. I can see that.
How dare I question?
Oh my god, and we could call you Lord Fius.
Don't give him any ideas.
Well, no, it's great. Lord Fius upon Lord Frederick. I like
We don't want to be bestowing any titles upon Orpheus that we might not be able to revoke later.
Well,
He's
maybe
probably
if
bestowed his own titles.
I have ideas, but if we all show incredible heroics on the journey ahead of us, maybe we'll get great titles, and maybe we'll.
Just file them in the box.
Yeah, exactly.
You sold the box, right?
No.
No?
What
It's out
box?
back? Where we keep the scraps of food and shit that
Oh.
we throw out?
Oh, in the garbage.
Yeah.
Oh, very nice.
Right
I'll
next
next time. I'll keep that in mind.
Annulin, that was actually a pretty sick burn.
Well, thanks.
You
You have several days, is the point here. You do what you have to do your research. When we have word that Rambi and Piccolo and the cart have safely made it, or are very close to making it to Agua, we're heading back. We're taking you with us.
Yeah, and I don't know how it's gonna work teleporting with a stallion and a pony, but Lord Frederick and Wendell, I think, will appreciate the trip.
We've managed to do it with Leo the Lion, even though I'm pretty sure that that's the reason why we had Piccolo and Rambi and the cart shipped.
But nonetheless, DM Fiat
Well, no,
says that we'll all arrive safely.
I think that I specifically said we should just go get them, and you guys were like, no,
No,
no time.
I would have also agreed with you 110%.
So then I think that what happened was Rodak made the choice, and it was wrong.
We can always blame him. I'm also
And do you know why that is?
because he's Rodak.
Thank you. I'm so glad I didn't have to be the one that said it this time.
After almost 4 years of out-of-game time, you begin to hammer things into my brain that seem to stick every
I
once in
don't
a
even
while.
know how to use a hammer.
Neither do I. I don't know why Grandpa keeps asking me.
I could teach you. Would you like to learn?
Speaking of which,
Did you brush your teeth today?
Speaking of which, Madness, what do you say?
has the inn been rebuilt completely?
No, we're still working on it. It's almost finished.
When you say we, do you mean he?
Well, mostly him and people that he's paid, yes.
I'm going
I
to
helped.
show up and help first thing in the morning.
Perfect.
Seamus is gonna be so
And
excited
you're
to see
coming
you.
with me. We have things to discuss with Seamus, and you're coming with me.
I suppose I can help carry things.
I will
Light
go
things.
too.
Thank
It'll
you,
be a
sir.
group.
And so
I'm happy to
will
help
Wendell.
construct.
A group
If I can.
adventure. It'll be a great maiden voyage on our new steeds.
Yeah.
Is that gonna be weird, just riding into town like that?
No, it won't.
I feel like
It'll be
most people
glorious.
just kind of walk.
Our hair blowing in the wind as we gallop through the cobblestone streets of Gullhaven.
Clip clop, clip clop.
Lord Fias and Lady Lou.
I do
Right.
like that scene.
So do I.
Let's make it happen. First thing.
We will.
Wonderful. Well, shall we enjoy a cappuccino and dessert and head to bed?
Oh yes, is there a tiramisu or is it tiramisu or is it tiramisu?
While I'm happy to...
Is it a coffee cake? Do we have tres leches or is that?
You just
do
tell
we
them
have
whenever they want
three
you.
milk cakes?
They figure it out.
Okay, cool.
While I'm happy to share a nightcap or something with you, we do potentially have pressing business that we may want to or may not want to include certain parties in.
Should we do that tonight? Should we invite her over for a coffee and a tres leches?
Invite who?
You've lost me.
Amalia?
No. It's far too late.
I was referencing maybe some magical spying on people.
Oh, you mean looking in on Annulin's potentially treacherous brother?
If only we want to include certain parties.
What do you mean? Oh, sorry. Lord Frederick, close your ears.
I don't...
You
Mr.
mean
Fred, it's fine.
I'm just saying we discussed potentially looking into it as quickly as possible, and it can wait until tomorrow, especially if we need to rest up.
You know, I have one thing I want to add to that.
I'm gonna bend down and pick up a stick off of the ground.
This stick smells delicious.
Oh?
Well,
Thanks for sharing.
I think
Yeah.
we don't need to... I think if you want to do that tonight, I don't think we need to hide that from anyone.
I'm
we
only
have
being
them?
cautious is all.
And I think that's fine, but given the circumstances, we should be forthcoming.
If Orpheus wants to listen in, I want him to be able to tell us anything that he can pick up on it.
Fine. The choice is ultimately yours anyway, considering it's your family.
Family.
Schmack.
Who needs them, right?
Alright, I'll enjoy a cappuccino, if you're offering.
Well, it's your staff. You can tell them to do whatever they want. Whatever you want.
Alright, I'll go have a delicious cappuccino.
Let's all enjoy a delicious cappuccino.
We'll go to the parlor or whatever.
You go to the parlor and and you all go to the parlor and you enjoy a nightcap and some dessert and you discuss and catch up. You fill Orpheus in if you want to on whatever you want to, and yeah. And the evening comes and is, well, I'm going to go to the room that I claimed for myself that wasn't any of your rooms. Pretty good on me, right?
Yeah.
For once.
My pony is sitting in the parlor with us.
Like almost watches.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Just curled up by the fire.
He absentmindedly runs a finger along one of his horns and he says, well, I'm going to hit the hay. We need to get our beauty rest if we're going to be doing Manual labor.
Don't forget it.
You get to ride a magnificent stallion in front of watching passerbys.
That'll make it almost worth it.
I'm looking forward to it. I haven't done some proper building in quite a while.
Maybe you can teach me a thing or two.
I could.
Good night.
Good night, and he shuffles off to bed.
So, you want to spy on your creepy old brother?
What if he's doing something weird?
Well,
Like, what if he's screwing someone?
again,
he would be doing
are
that.
you sure it's okay if Orpheus is not here then? You
I guess we can relay it to him. Maybe it's better to keep a little separation.
Up to you. I'm fine with anything.
I want to hear what I hear, and then I'll see if Orpheus should know it all.
Fine. Sylvia, are you up to the task?
Am I?
I begin to start casting.
Are you?
How's that
Oh
work?
boy, am I?
So, let's see. So you would just roll.
Nervous.
Do you have anything of his? If anything that belonged to him?
I would have the last letter he sent me.
Unless you, if you don't have any personal possession would be better out of character. Just saying. But if the letters would be
The letter would work.
Yeah, it was written in. I mean, he wrote it.
Yeah.
That would probably be the only thing I have of his.
You have to roll a wisdom saving throw -4.
Wisdom saving throw -4.
Yes, and you have to succeed on a DC 19.
Can he choose to fail?
No, because he has no idea it's happening. Well, no, because he has
No,
no
he doesn't
idea
know
that
it's
it's
happening.
happening.
Okay.
Okay. So, you.
I start casting
Yeah.
scrying.
I swear, I
I
swear the words are different every time she does this. Summon gay, summon gay, summon gay.
And then
Mouth of the cave of the mouth, Salmon mouth cave.
Mouth of the salmon.
So, as Sylvie, you channel deeply. As the sound, you're reaching out with your scrying. As you reach deeper and deeper and deeper, and suddenly your consciousness transports halfway across the continent, and you see around you a beautiful flash of gold. And that's where we'll end the session.
You jerk! No!
I got my typing fingers ready. I was like,
Damn!
He needs a week to repair what I see.
Yeah.
I was gonna say.
It's in there. That was good.
No, it's good. It's
a good
perfect.
juicy cliffhanger.
I was like, how am I gonna have a cliffhanger this episode? Wow, thank you.
I thought it was gonna end with us, going to sleep.
Yeah, you go to sleep.
And that's where we're on the session.
oh my god.
Son of a
Thank you
gun.
for my pony mic. It's much appreciated.
Good old
After almost 2 years of talking about a pony, get a
A
pony.
long
Finally get my
fucking time, pony.
I had no idea what you were saying until you mentioned that they'd been talking about it, and I was like, oh my god, there's a fucking pony. It's a fucking pony!
Any excuse to get a beautiful stallion. Lord Frederick.
Thank you everyone for coming.
Thank you
hang out
guys
with
so
us.
much for hanging out.
So we'll reiterate some of our announcements. We've got a giveaway coming up at 1,500 followers. That is for the if you do exclamation point giveaway, you will see it, but it's for a set of Norse Foundry dice. It's for a custom dice topper made by Arcanic Artistry. With one of you have 2 options for Legends of Vantress logo. It's absolutely amazing. As well as the minis from Whizkins.
Yes.
So it's
a
pretty
booster
cool,
pack.
Booster pack.
I believe we're doing Dragon Heist is the set of minis. And so yeah, and then stay tuned. Hopefully tomorrow is good enough that we can have a wonderful sub perk to all of our lovely slubs.
And Friday we'll be back for You Will Be Witness, where Derek DMs that. And then next week we have no Feywild on Tuesday. We may do something, but it's looking pretty grim. But we'll keep it posted if we choose to do it.
At the very least, join the Discord, follow us on social,
Yeah.
because we will update you on what our plans are, because our schedule's a little bit different next week.
And then
Join the Discord.
no Prime on Wednesday, but Prime will be back on Thursday at
right?
7:30 p.m. And then that Saturday after we have Death House, so come join us for that.
We have a lot of
Yeah, a lot of D&D.
I can almost
D&D.
guarantee I'll be altering my streaming schedule to work around the change, because I normally stream on Thursday,
Yeah.
but if we're doing Prime, I'll be streaming different days.
There'll be
so.
something to watch to spread the love of the Amantis fam. We are going to be rating Dice Priority.
Oh, nice!
Give them some love. They're phenomenal.
So you're
They're
Hooters.
great.
Really, really cool.
Bunch
Tell
of
them
great
how
role
much you love
players.
them.
Follows.
Give them a follow. Spread the love. Show your Hooters.
Good
We will see you guys on
night.
Friday.
Good night.
Love you guys.
See Friday.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.